Hi, everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new live stream. Today being Sunday here in Moscow, Russia, and I thought I'd give this a try a little bit earlier in the evening, and I thought I'd give it another try doing a live stream generally, right? So I hope we have a few people joining us. I hope we have some nice chat in the stream. We can answer some questions here and there. I will kind of try to go over a couple of questions, or really one main question that I've been asked quite a lot of times in the different comments in the different previous videos that I've done. So I do see a couple of people live already. So I just thought I'd quickly say hello back to you guys. The first person I think in the live chat was Easel Cat. How's it going, Easel or Easel Cat? I wonder if you're a painter. I imagine with that name that you probably are. I'm not too sure. We have Pirate Craggy. How's it going, Craggy? I don't know if you noticed on the community post that I put the island time there. Generally, you'd only put Moscow, London, New York, Los Angeles time. I don't know if you picked up on that at all, Craggy. And I did San Francisco for Babel Cruising if she joins us as well. So Gary's here as well. I just was chatting to him and he's jumped right into the stream. So yeah, so it is actually 8 p.m. here in Moscow, Russia, 8:02 actually. So that's kind of nice that we've got people here, and it's a little bit earlier for me as well. I hope the sound is coming across good. I know it does echo here in the kitchen. We have a carpet in here, actually. It's very weird. It's not weird. It's very Russian that you have a sofa in your kitchen. I think in Europe, generally, a lot of people have this. So we have a sofa right behind me. It's a little bit hard to see. She's a little bit messy at the moment on the table here, but this is kind of our dining room table as well. I made this from IKEA. I got myself the desk top, I guess you'd call it, and got the legs. Brought the sofa in from the other room because it's a 2-room apartment. It's considered a 1-room apartment, but it's 2 rooms. So yeah, it's and then basically the sofa converts into a bed. And when we first moved in here, that was actually our bed in the other room until we bought a new bed, or I don't know, replacement bed, I guess you'd call it. So TT says that Frio had a loss today. Yes, I was watching. I didn't catch the last little bit. I was kind of doing 2 things at the same time, which is not unlike me. So Frio did lose. I didn't watch the West Coast game. So yeah, with the 5-hour time difference, there was 3 games today, and one of them was at 5 a.m. I think it was, and then I don't know what time the Fremantle game was. But yeah, Fremantle, St Kilda. So yeah, Fremantle lost. I don't have my Fremantle shirt on today. I have my BMX sports shirt on BMX riding. Back in Australia, I volunteer at a local BMX track where my sister's son was riding until he essentially retired. He retired as an 18-year-old. Pretty much with kids with BMX, they're either all in or they just aren't all in, and he decided not to keep going. So yeah, and I continued volunteering at the track down there because I really enjoy it. While we were living back in Perth, we actually lived only about 5-minute drive from the track, so it was really easy just to go down there on race nights or on days when we did busy bees. See, they call them busy bees, where they do the cleanups and things like that. So Pirate Craiger says, yep, 'tis very cool. Thank you. Yes, for the time difference. So now I was told that the comments that I put up here that I see right in front of me down here are different to the comments I see over here. So I need to now keep an eye on both sets of comments. So, or I'm going to mess that up completely and post comments that I shouldn't. Yeah, so as Gary says there, no politics or things 5x5. is that like 4x4, like a four-wheel drive, but it's a 5x5. So yeah. Stephanie says, I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Well, yeah, it's kind of, I was going to do the live stream for 2 hours. It's only 5 minutes in, and it's 8 p.m. now. We actually just came back from going for an early dinner. My wife had some clients today. She had 3 clients today in her salon downstairs. And then we went to the local sports. So again, in Aprelica where we live, we only have 2 restaurants, literally 2 restaurants. And one's in the shopping center, which is called Beer and Fire Grill. And the other one is called Cafe Olympic. And it's the cafe/restaurant in the sports complex. The sports complex has got basically a gymnastics arena, swimming pool, table tennis. There's a gym, all sorts of things. They do all sorts in there, taekwondo and judo. And so we went there and had some sushi. Now I was going to wait, and because I was trying to do only 1 community post per day, and I was going to wait and post the photo, I think, tomorrow. But I can show you guys now if you like, because it was kind of a nice photo. So I don't know if that's going to show up lighting wise. Maybe if I do it like that. No, like that. Oh my gosh. Why is that so bright? And that was us having kind of, oh, there you go. That's very good, that one, isn't it? I don't have everything else. Double click something 1 second, everybody. If you just bear with me, 3 screens. It's like a NASA Space Center. Is that what you'd call it? Where you've got all the screens in front of you? You know, like a nuclear power plant with Homer Simpson, where he's looking at the things going on. And now my VPN login, of course, because I'm trying to do the internet. You see how slow the internet's just froze? I can't get into my Messenger and things like I'm going to have to not look at my messages because it's kind of frozen. So I hopefully it's, yeah, I see freezing right there. So I don't know what I can do. I've just noticed the same thing. I've got everything possible closed that I possibly could close. Does that make sense? I've got the speed down on it as well. And I'm going as slow as I can, if that makes sense as well. So, oh, 5x5 is by the book. West Coast lost as well. Yeah, it did. Freezing up. Oh, no, I hope not. My screen in front of me is not freezing up, so I don't know what's going on. Do you guys want me to restart it and do another stream, or should we kind of persist on? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, I hope I have a good rest of my evening. We will. Yeah, well, basically, when I get through this, I'm going to watch the Formula One. I think I'm going to catch the end of it. Yeah, this is the only thing with the internet here. It kind of goes amazing until you need to use it. And then it goes all not amazing. The only thing is, if I do start another live stream, which is no problems at all, does not harm restarting at this stage. Yeah, the only thing with the restarting it is I won't be able to put the comments up on the screen. Yeah, I've got that unplugged as well. I've got everything unplugged that I can possibly unplug. So it seems to be better now, I think. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, I think. Yeah, so I can't. I think when I went to go and open my Facebook with VPN, that's when it went all funny wunny oovy doovy. Awesome photo. Thanks for sharing. Yes, I will put it on the community post. So the plan is, I don't know if you guys know from the previous live stream, we got a few super chats and super stickers. Actually, Pirate Craggy was responsible for quite a few of them, and there was quite a few others as well. I think it was about 8 or 9 people that did super chats or super stickers. And I did ask in the comments of the community tab there for ideas, and most people said take my wife out for lunch or dinner. So the one we went for today was basically her shout, if that makes sense. So we actually had couple of nice soups because it's been super cold here today and yesterday. Like today was just freezing, so we kind of went there. Actually, we went to the store first to buy some stuff, some groceries, the little local store where we live, and then we went for the sushi and soup and sushi. So that was her shout, and then the next one will be my shout. Do you guys calling a shout when people? It's like shouting for drinks, right? When you buy a round of drinks. So yeah, if I don't know if anybody else has super chat, super sticker today, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, pretty much everyone voted. It was more than, I guess it was just about 60% of people out of all the votes voted for taking my wife out. And a few people actually commented separately about me just keeping the money. So yeah, thank you. Rico says, pretty wife. Yes, I have to agree. Rico Weeder Runners. I think maybe you went in the last live stream. So yeah, good to have you here. Again, I've got to look over here and not look over here because it's sort of showing, yeah, so it's basically not showing too many things at the same time. I think I've got it better now. You can hear. Yes, this is the crazy thing, right, Easelcat? So I put a lot of effort into getting this microphone for my cruise channel live streams, which I haven't now done in 3 weeks. So I've just basically, once this sort of went crazy, this channel, I thought I'd just put a lot of effort into this because it's obviously more sense to do the content I want to do on a travel channel while I'm traveling and while I'm here. And it all makes sense in a roundabout way. So the point was to get a microphone, because before that, the microphone and the feedback volume was just horrible. So I got this Rode. This is called Rode is a brand, by the way. And then I've even got the Rode. I'll just do this, get it right in the shot. And I've even got the Rode. It's called the Boom Arm. So you can buy these like very cheaply on Amazon. Obviously, here we don't have Amazon. So I decided, as my wife just said, just buy the better one, buy the better quality one. The Boom Arm was the same price as the microphone. So go figure that out. It's very, very nice, by the way. But now the next problem I've got, actually, it's kind of, I've got like a list of problems with being able to do like using good quality streams like people do. You know, people really have like lights in the background. They've got lights facing them. I do have one of those kind of ring lights, but I just find the way I'm sitting here, I don't use it. I would need it in front of me, and I don't use it. So it is what it is, right? So yeah, better now, more stable. Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Pirate. Or Pirate Craggy. You told me to call you Crag. So close out any windows. I've done that now. I've got nothing open barring this one and this one. And I would prefer to leave this one open over here so I can see this stream health thing, and that we got 5 likes, so I can see how many likes I have. But I'm using StreamYard. You'll see in the corner. Where is it? This corner. StreamYard is a kind of a streaming application that's actually browser or web-based, and that probably is slowing it down a tiny bit as well. But it allows me to put the comments up on the screen like I'm doing. So agree fully. Oh, you agree fully. All right, maybe with taking my wife out, I think that's what you agree on. So yeah, so she shouted today. So what basically the way like this payment system from Google works is super chat, super stickers go into the account. So basically this account got what's called monetized once it hit 1,000 subscribers, which was like 6-7 days ago. And then typically it takes up to a month to be monetized, where you actually start receiving ad revenue from the ads on the playable videos. You can choose not to do it, of course, but with my other channel being fully set up to do it, it made sense just to link it. And because I already had all that set up from the Google side, it was only a couple of mouse clicks, and it worked. And then literally 3 days later, it was monetized, which is 27 days quicker than YouTube told me it was going to be. So yeah, so basically the super chats would go into the Google payments, which comes on the 21st of each following calendar month. And then, as I maybe explained in the previous live stream, basically because my YouTube and Google and everything is set up in Australia, the payments system goes to my Australian bank account. So any money that would come through this, what are you calling this, YouTube chat things and things like that, like from the previous one, it comes to me on the 21st of next calendar month. And there's no, literally, what are we now, 5-6 days away from the previous one, and that came through, no worries. Oh, so Gary said that there's other people doing live streaming at the moment as well. So I was hoping that this 8 p.m. time for me, I really didn't want to clash with Inside Russia, which is Konstantin. So a lot of people have come over to my channel, as that we are pretty much neighbors. We live up the road from each other. He's recommended me to you guys, and I know he does his at 11 p.m. So if I do this for roughly 2 hours, it will still finish before 11 p.m. and it won't take away any of his audience. I don't know these other few, watch some of the videos from the other few YouTubers, but I didn't know if they've got a set time that they go live. Very typically when I've done my cruise ones, which were every Sunday night, I would not do them till midnight or 1 a.m. US time, Russia time. So it's roughly 4 or 5 p.m. in America. Because I generally Saturday or Sunday afternoon, a lot of ship departures from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and I tend to do like screen sharing, and we talk about the ships that are leaving the port and being on a cruise for the weekend and things like that. So, yeah. And Ross said that he's just hit like. Thank you, Ross. Yeah, likes, comments are basically, let's say the word cost everybody nothing. And the same with subscribing to the channel and notification bell. Basically, by putting chat and thumbs ups. Is that the plural of thumbs up, I think? It basically helps the algorithm of YouTube, or how it basically spreads the audience of the channel, if that makes kind of sense. So yeah, so that was my photo. I wonder if it's going to be blurry the next time. I'll just see if I can do it one more time, and I'll see how blurry I end. I think that's what I was doing. I think I was making my, it's so hard to see that. Nice. That was at the cafe where we went. It's a bit hard to see the sushi there. But it's actually a weirdly nice place. It's a weirdly nice place. I like going there. My wife doesn't, because it's a little bit cold in there. They've got a lot of air conditioning, obviously, because it's a gym and place. Everyone doesn't want to get too hot and sweaty. So Inside Russia said that he was going to change to midnight. Oh, okay. So he'll go an hour later. Oh, that's right, because he's 1 hour ahead where he is now. So where he's moved to, his local time, he's 1 hour ahead of Moscow time. So he'll still stream at the same time here, Moscow time, which is 11 p.m. But where he's literally living, it's literally 1 hour ahead of his own of this time. So it'll still be exactly the same time into, say, America. I think he said it was 4 p.m. So you guys, Gary and Craigie, saying hello to each other. So yeah, if anybody wants to put some comments, obviously, like Gary said there, keep it nice and friendly and light-hearted. Yeah, it's been super cold. Oh, look how cold it's gone down to. I can show you that as well. -5 outside. That's on my balcony. This is basically like a temperature sensor, and I've got one on the outside window as well, and it's 25 inside. So it's it got up to 28 the other day inside. I've got the kitchen door open today, so it won't be as warm in here because we've got central heating, like heating in the kitchen here. So it basically warms up the room. If I close that door, the windows have been closed all day in the kitchen because it's like blowing a gale outside. It's kind of weird because normally when I'm looking out the window of our house in Australia, our apartment, all the trees have leaves on them because most of the Australian native trees are deciduous. They don't drop their leaves. And you'll see the trees like swaying and the leaves like swaying. Whereas here in wintertime, every tree loses its leaves. So when it's windy, you don't see the wind, right? Because you can't see any of the leaves on the trees moving. I know that doesn't be exciting chat for you, or isn't exciting chat for you, but you know, it is for me. So yeah, so -5 outside is probably colder than that, really. Let's see how much colder it really is. You guys use your phone for the temperature? So it says real temperature -4. Why does that blow out so much? That's crazy. Yeah, -4 is the real temperature. Feels like -12. This is Celsius too, by the way. So, yeah. Oh, hi there from South Australia. Yeah, 3:50 a.m. here. Was around 31 and blue skies here today. Yeah, I think it was, what did my friend say there? It was 28 in Perth tomorrow. I don't know. It's raining and then 28 tomorrow. So I'm not sure. Yeah, that's the only thing we're doing this timing is it kind of throws off. So 5 hours on top of 8 p.m. and then another, is it 2 hours? So what are we at? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so sorry about that. Oh, yeah, is it hour and a half to South Australia, isn't it? You guys have got that weird time difference. Yeah, 31 in blue skies. Oh, yeah, I was telling my friend today, like 27 to 30 is kind of like the Celsius temperature. So, yeah, I was watching, being South Australian, you're probably into your AFL or Sandful. Lauren, you guys call it, right? The local league. We've got the Waffle. You've got the Sandful. Yeah, the Dockers and the Eagles both lost today. But I watched the Dockers match because I kind of follow the Dockers probably more than the Eagles. Going okay here, temperature-wise. Plus 20 in Germany. Oh, very nice. Yeah, probably. Yeah, about 27 to 30. I like the temperature. That's coming from Australia, right? Where we do get to 40 Celsius. 27 to 30 is kind of like that sweet spot, I think, is what I'd call it. So how high up are you? Constantine said he lived 24 floors up. I can't imagine. I'm on the 10th level here. Yeah, his apartment block. I never did ask. I guess he lives on the 24th. He lives in like a super tall apartment block and normal as well. And especially close. He's a little bit closer to Moscow than I am. And it's kind of just like skyscrapers. You know what I mean? Like 24-story building in Perth would be very high, but here for kind of typical apartment buildings. Yeah, we're 10th level. We used to live in the same building. I mentioned it in the other live stream. We used to live in the exact same building on the exact same elevator corridor. But we used to live on a level 11. So we were literally the same spot, one level up. Yeah, this is very nice. And actually, this building is 14 floors. So the highest is level 14 in the elevator. And then we've got a nice view. You probably saw that snowy photo in the community tab. That's the view out the window from earlier on today when it actually was sort of snowing. It snowed kind of last night and today. It was kind of especially we had a week of very nice nothing, like where it was sunny and everything was melting, and now it's all white again here. So, yeah, 29 tomorrow. TT says, "Oh, nice. That's very nice weather in Western Canada." Bim Jim. So yeah, we're getting a lot of people who were in the previous live stream. Western Colorado. Sorry, Western Canada. It's 10:28 a.m. and 8 Celsius. Yeah. So why do you Blim Jim? Bim Jim. Sorry. Why do you call it Western Canada? Is there a point where you don't just say Canada, or you say it's not Vancouver, or I guess over that side of the country? I've never heard of West Canada before. I guess is that just for international audiences? You say that, right? Because I guess if you just say Canada, people would think Toronto, maybe Calgary, maybe what's the French Canadian side on the East Coast there? So Lauren says, "Go the Crows!" Yeah, Adelaide Crows is the and Port Adelaide. They're the two teams in South Australia. Nice. Yeah, Eagles and Dockers just frustrate you, though. I mean, people that are Dockers supporters, I mean, it's just frustrating to watch because they could play amazing and they just aren't and don't and won't. Nadine says, "Hi from Wisconsin." Nice. Have you got one of those cheese hats? Those foam triangle cheese hats. That's Wisconsin, I think, right? I think we've got I've got to look over here every now and again to see if anything I've not got to read out, because that could be kind of not good if I do that. So I know what we look at weather here. When we look at weather here, a cold day for us means something else to us than to others. Cold day for you is about what? Okay, now I'm in Russia. I mean, obviously it gets to -10, -20. I mean, cold, I would say -15 to 20. That's when it's cold. Actually, today was cold after having about a week and a half or more of nicer, warmer, kind of 0, 2, 3, 4 Celsius days. And then when we went out today, like I was literally going down. We rented a car. You can do temporary car rentals here. So we rented a car called ride sharing. And we had to go walk to where the car was because it wasn't. You just leave the car parked anyway when you finish with it. And my hands were just freezing cold, like as it -15, 20 cold. So in Perth, I would say if we get down to 5 degrees, 10 degrees, that's cold in Perth, in Australia. I'm not sure about from Adelaide's point of view, but 5 or 10 would be cold. In Moscow, I'd say -15 to 20. It's kind of weird how I've just suddenly my scale of cold is just blown out so much. Yeah. Hello from Finland. Have you been following what's happening in Russia via your video? Oh, you've been watching me via my videos. Thanks for those. -5 here and snowing. Should be +5 centimeters in the morning. Nice. I've been to Helsinki. Nico, I was at the Kavernamassa yard in Helsinki, Finland. I've been there twice. I've been once in summer, once in winter, when they build the cruise ships in Helsinki. Now they've got them in Turku. They've got Kavernamassa yard, but I was there on Carnival Cruise Line ships when the shipyard was smack in town. You'd literally go out the turnstile and walk to town. We went to the Helsinki Club. We went to Molly Malone's, which is a couple of bars in the downtown of Helsinki. It was very, very nice. I met a nice girl there well before I ever met my wife, who wined me and dined me, and it was very, very, very nice. We were there for two weeks, both times. We lived on the ship in the shipyard. So yeah. I did actually watch another Russian YouTuber's video. I just sort of started watching him in the last few days. He's in St. Petersburg, and he went to Prism. Was it called Prism? It's only the supermarkets that are only in St. Petersburg, because I Googled it, and they're closing down, right? And they're literally doing a closing down sale where they're selling everything off in the store. And it kind of makes Russia look like everything's selling off and everything's closing down, and it's not. Pretty much every store where you've watched the supermarket or department store walkthroughs or shopping center walkthroughs, they've just basically temporarily paused, not closed, temporarily paused, or temporarily stopped operations. So the one that's the Prism, the one that's the Prism, I forgot the name, how it's described now. You'll know that anyway. They look like they're just all over Russia and every supermarket's closing and there's not going to be food left, but don't worry about it. Globus is still here. Ashan is still here. Actually, there was an Australian news report, an Australian newspaper online that talks about Ashan and how, like the guy across the border here has told everybody they shouldn't go to Ashan in all the European countries. Prisma. Yes, thank you, Nico. I'm a little bit behind on the chat, but I can see it over on my other screen. Yeah, Prisma. Yeah, it looked really nice when it was open because it had all the European stuff and a lot of Finnish stuff in there. TT asks, is that going to pop up? Yes. What suburb in Perth are you from? TTs. I'm okay. My parents live in Baldivis, which is south of the river. While we lived in Perth for the year and a half with my wife, we lived on Rockingham Foreshore. We lived literally 800 meters from the beach. We were 2 streets back from Rockingham Beach by, what's the name of the park there? Anzac Park? There's a park. We lived opposite the park, and then you could walk 2 streets and you're at the beach. But I went to school in Fremantle, John Curtin College of the Arts, John Curtin Senior High School when I went there. Yeah, it's actually John Curtin's quite famous for its theater arts and dance school, I guess, as part of the high school. And now you basically got to qualify to go to that high school. You don't just go there anymore like I did. And I was in the same year as Sam Worthington, who was the guy in Avatar, Man on a Ledge, Clash of the Titans, different movies. Yeah, so I will call myself that I'm from Rockingham because that's where we lived while I was there for the last year and a half. Loved living there. There's a lot of bad stigma about Rockingham, and I loved it. And I loved the fact that I told people I lived there, and some people, have different, don't like this, don't love it. So, yeah, sorry. No cheeseheads hats for me, says Nadine. Oh, okay. Now I'm really getting behind on the chat. You guys can chat ahead and I'll kind of catch up. And if anybody does like these super chat things, we'll kind of skip to them because they disappear off the screen if that ever happens about. So we'll see. I don't follow anyone in Australia, but talk to several visibly, I guess. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm not. This is my wife said to me that. She goes, oh, if we go back, you can keep doing your traveling with Russell channel. And I don't know if people would want to follow me from Australia. I guess people from other, does anybody from, have I deleted the wrong thing? I think not. No. I'm sure there's bloggers in Perth that people watch from around the world and in the opposite, right? But I guess while I'm here now, it's a little of a trending topic and a trending thing to watch. So, oh Lord, I'm not complaining about winter in Mount Gambier anymore. Yeah, I think, there's people in America as well, like up in the northern parts of the US, up in Canada, and where it's getting like minus and snow, and in the far reaches of Russia where they've got crazy amounts of snow as well. I mean, in Moscow, it doesn't get, let's say, very cold, like 40s. So get to minus 15 and 20, it does do. It's really that kind of like relevant temperature. So you've got the kind of normal temperature. Like I said, there was minus 3, was it? Was that what it was? Minus 4? Is it going to change? And it says feels like minus 12. And actually today it really did feel like minus 12. So, yeah, I talked to several Australian people via amateur radio. That's where I first heard the words Aussie swagman. Nice. So do you know what a swag is? So there's a couple of different sort of meanings of the word swag, right? Like slang words, like swag as in like you're cool and everything. That's not really an Australian word, but swag in Australian slang is like a sleeping bag. Especially when you go out in the bush or you go out camping, you'll take your swag with you, or you'll roll up your swag and chuck it in the back of your car or your ute, or in South Africa, and you take your swag with you. It's basically like it's a sleeping bag, but it's a more rugged version of a sleeping bag where it can kind of get dirty, it can get wet, it can not kind of like those ones that you roll up in a little bag sort of type swag. That makes sense. I think from Australia, Lauren probably knows what a swag is and knows it better. What's worse for you, being too cold or too warm, Craggy? Okay, so in Australia, when it gets to like 40 degrees, 42, it just gets too hot. I mean, I'm not really one to complain very often about how hot or cold it is. And, I mean, today just walking to the car, it just felt cold because I didn't have my gloves on, which I would normally do if I know it's going to be cold. I didn't properly do up my scarf because I was going to get in the car and take off my things to drive the car, not be kind of like bundled up trying to drive, So I was not overly prepared for how much colder it was. I kind of like that 30-degree warm weather. I like the fact that you've got like true seasons here in Russia. So you've got true winter, summer, spring, autumn. In Perth, particularly where we are, it's really just summer and winter. The autumn, spring doesn't have like a middle ground where you kind of get those variable temperatures. It's kind of either that hot or cold kind of thing, right? So, and Nadine says, do we have kids? We don't have kids. No, we have not really talked about it. We talked about it once or twice, but never really keep talking about it or keep bringing it up. So, yeah, Prism. You guys, a couple of people have just mentioned that it's called Prism. Saw that Finland outlet. Yeah, Craigie, if you watched, I don't know the guy's name. Anyway, he was the one that I watched. He wears like big round glasses. Anyway, he seems very nice guy. You know what I mean? Maybe like student or a bit younger than I am, of course. So, Prism. Those green cupboards are seriously cool, if not Soviet. Yeah, this is a modern apartment, by the way. When my wife originally moved in here before I met her, she bought the other apartment upstairs. This is rented where we are here now. She basically bought the apartment upstairs unbuilt, and basically she did her own finishing inside. And this is a modern, newer apartment, but basically people just do eclectic things. If you kind of look at, I don't know, we should do that one time when we do a live stream where I pull up the house rentals and house for sales. I can quite easily do that. And you'll see how people just have like bold wallpapers, bold colors of kitchens. Yeah, in our old apartment when we lived down the street, it was bright orange. So yeah, this is like bright green, and it's like rolling a dice when you go and look at a rental here, what colors they've kind of put in, or what over the top kind of design they've done with, especially with wallpapers. They love their crazy wallpapers here. All the ones that you wouldn't buy if it was kind of your place. So yeah, let me kind of just catch up. I know it's a long way behind. Nick Poskin. Yeah, there you go. That's how I'm not that far behind. His latest one, guessing it's the video watched. Yes, Craigie, that's the one I did watch at Prisma. I was asking my wife, if she knew about Prisma. She hadn't, right? Because when I kind of Googled it to look up the brand and everything, it's only in St. Petersburg, which kind of makes sense because it's the next closest place to Finland, and their stores are kind of in that region of Europe. So, yeah, speaking of Perth area, glad they found that little girl that was abducted. Yeah, Ross, that was crazy. Yeah, that was up in not Lancelin, Carnarvon, which is right up north in WA. Carnarvon's actually quite famous in terms of a famous thing for bananas. So maybe if you buy bananas, particularly in Australia, you'll get Carnarvon bananas. You know, like the little sticker on the bananas. Yeah, that was just bizarre story. And the guy, I think he's still now in jail, of course, with what's going on with it all. And very weird. Like he had like the dolls in his house and everything, and like the tip off for them to how they got tipped off to know him and go to his house, and she was in there and everything. Yeah, like just crazy story. Yes, Craigie, he's on live right now. Oh, okay, so the other guys are on live right now. Yeah, Kim Illman is from Perth TTs. Yes, I haven't met him, but when the Sochi Formula One was here last year, I guess now, was it? Or was it this year? Last year? He was in Moscow Center doing a live stream from Red Square. And I wish I knew he was doing it because I would have literally gone there to see him. I did message him on Instagram, and the only person in 2 years who's ever replied to me on Instagram from all famous people that I've ever met on Instagram, by the way. And I told him that I'm from Perth, and I told him about a few places to go to around Red Square and to sort of check out and things like that. Yeah, I watched some of his videos. Very good. Yeah, he's now over. It's on today, right? The Abu Dhabi second Grand Prix. Yeah, he does very good editing of his videos. Like really, photographer on YouTube. Yes, I know him. The house he lives in. If you watched a couple of videos ago, before he left, he lives in Lancelin, which is a coastal town just north of Perth. And he lives in this amazing, like, I would almost call it a mansion. He obviously bought some land a long time ago. He built his house of his dreams. And I believe I'm not sure if his wife lives there full time or what, or I believe he may rent that out on like Airbnb style as well, because it's like crazy house and crazy expensive rental. Swag in USA is things you steal. Oh, is it really? That's what they call swag. And it's also like free gifts, right? Like when you give free gifts at like conventions and trade shows and stuff. It's a pickup, yes. Oh, pickup truck. You don't see many here in Russia. Someone asked me before about this. It's no. Okay, I'm okay. Okay. I see one there that I shouldn't pull up. I'm not actually, because I don't read Russian, I don't know what it is. My understanding of swagman is kind of traveling bushman or maybe hobo type of wandering person. Yes, once a jolly swagman, camped by a billabong. Yeah, that's pretty much right on how it is, traveling bushman. Yes. Thanks, Ross. Young lad, round glasses, that's him. Yeah, Craggy, you know who I'm talking about. Nick Poskin. Yeah, you guys are onto it. Saudi Arabia is today. I think it's pretty much about now, by the way. I was telling my wife when we were sitting having lunch there, I think I've timed this exactly when the Grand Prix is on. So it's okay. I mean, I'm not really a big motor racing fan. I probably have only watched it since I've been here. I like to just kind of watch some English TV. So I've got this VPN that's got all these crazy sports channels on. So it's kind of nice to watch English commentary. So like watching the football earlier, and then after this, the golf is on, the match play is on. So I watch a bit of golf. I know that sounds super boring. Sorry. I'm in Russia and everything's going crazy, and here I'm watching golf. You know, this is one thing that I've noticed in a lot of the comments, and this is what I was going to talk about on this live stream, was there's kind of like this sentiment that, you know, all Russians should sort of know what's going on, let's say across the border. All Russians should, you know, feel bad for everything that's going on, and all Russians should be, you know, responsible for everything that's going on. And really, anybody that I know here, honestly and truly, people that I talk to, people that I know, people that I'm friends with, my wife's friends, they don't want any of this to be happening. Not necessarily for all the sanctions, for all the shutdowns, for all the closures, mean, people have lived through a lot of that over the years, especially, I mean, the Soviet times, post-Soviet and things like that. So it's just very interesting that people, like I'm walking around the supermarket, for instance, and I'm happy and I'm smiling like I'm doing on the live streams here. And then people kind of think that I should be kind of like straight-faced. I should be very not positive about everything. And, like this, it's very sad and everything. I mean, to be realistic, right? If you to walk around my town where I am here, and then like where we went to the sports stadium today, I mean, today's a little bit colder weather, right? So it didn't seem as busy, like just driving. It's only 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away where we went to and back. Just people aren't out walking today like normally. You'd see people walking the dog from the balcony here. You can see people walking. Just because it's just bitterly cold, people just stayed home today, and it's Sunday, right? So, so there wasn't really people around. But honestly, you would think it's just a normal day of the week here in Moscow. I mean, if you didn't watch any news, didn't watch the internet, didn't look at social medias or anywhere where there'd be an influence, people wouldn't know what's going on. And you would go to the shop, come home, go to the train station, and have no clue. Go to get a slice of pizza or wherever you go if you're going to eat. We've got a couple of pizza places here as well, but they're takeaway pizza places. So, and I mean, I'd say if I went to Moscow Center or to Red Square area, I mean, Pushkin Square is the one where you've seen like the people gathering and the ones that have been taken away where they've held up things. And that's not good. I mean, obviously, people want to have the freedom to do that. I mean, that's completely understandable. And a lot of people choose to only do it in this one area called Pushkin Square. And that's actually where the first McDonald's is as well. Literally on that same, it's it's a square, right? But it's kind of two squares with a road going through it. So it's two parks on either side of a road. So it's, and then if you go there, you'd see the amount of extra police, and I would call them military, but I think it's more like, I don't know, different police divisions where they've kind of, got the riot gear, got the helmets on, got all the gear padded up, and they've actually even put like the fences, like the metal fences around the park, shut them down. And then just stops people going in them to actually gather together, right? So, because there's a kind of a crazy rule here that you can be a one-person gathering, and that's okay, one person. But the minute there's two of you or more than two of you, it's not allowed. You can put in a request to have a gathering. Like, I think it's something like 28 days beforehand. I mean, who does that anyway, right? But obviously people don't do that. So the minute there's more than one person standing near somebody else, then it's a problem. So literally, if I was to catch the train into Moscow Center, TT says it's halfway through already. Oh, so, but the thing, like when you watch, sorry, I'll talk again in a minute, but the thing when you watch Formula One, like, especially when you watch the British feed of it, which is the Sky Sports commentary of it, and then the post-race commentary goes on for longer than the whole race. So you can watch it a few hours later, and it's still the post-race commentary of it. So it's very interesting. Yeah, if you were to go like on the bus from where I live, on the train, the metro from Salarevo, where I've done the videos from, and then into Ohotny Riyadh, which is the shopping center next to Red Square. And then there's Gum, which is the one where I did the video from as well. You wouldn't notice any difference in that Red Square area. I mean, there's always some sort of police presence there. There is also some kind of like military presence, because it's obviously the Kremlin and everything like that. I wouldn't say there's any more there than normal. Honestly, walking around, I mean, I do pay a lot of attention. I noticed that there's maybe one or two extra police in each metro station. which you wouldn't normally see. You see normally some there, but there's probably one or two extra. Maybe they've just been posted to the stations. Going in and out of the shopping centers, there's no difference in the amount of security that's there. There's always a guy there. There's like a pass-through metal detectors, but they're never on, or they're on, no one's looking. And then the guy's got his wand in his hand, but he's not using it to check anybody. So at the metro stations, when people have got luggage or big or bulky bags, they do have the metal detector pass-throughs, like the ones at the airports where you put the luggage through. So they are more critical on people with bigger bags or bulky bags and things like that. So I've got a greater appreciation for Aussie freedoms now. Yes. I mean, obviously, we've had the lockdowns in Australia. Obviously, McGowan from WA, where I'm from, versus probably South Australia and over east is very different. I mean, now we've got the mask mandates in Australia, which now here in Russia, they've removed the mask mandates. And then we were driving home today and just parking the car, right? So we were very, very lucky. I said, I'll drop you off at our door with the shopping and stuff, because we went and did a bit of shopping. And then, we just passed two ladies that had the full surgical masks on and the full jacket on, scarf, mittens, everything, And I said to her, I don't know even why they wear. My wife's like, they're wearing masks. I'm like, I don't know why they're wearing them today. And there's no need to wear them outside. I mean, it's super cold. So there's the percentages of anything happening is so 0.000, but they chose to wear them. So where are we right here? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously there's obviously the kind of the lockdowns in Australia, but I guess the freedoms are there, right? I mean, Craig says people can't beat themselves up about things that have little to no control over, or whether it is wise given the situation to do so. Right. Yeah, this is the thing, right? I mean, I'm not a person that would go to Pushkin Square and probably stand around on things. I mean, in Australia, we do have protesting going on over wage disputes or pay disputes, or better conditions for nurses or teachers and things like that. The unions, it's mostly unions that get together and do that kind of thing. And I, here in Russia, I mean, I don't condone anything that's happening. I don't agree with anything that's going on. Would I go to Pushkin Square? I wouldn't, unfortunately. I don't. I mean, of course, I don't want to have anything happen that would happen, but I mean, all I can do is, like you say, just there's no control over it. I mean, the greater population, like they're saying we should, people in Europe should boycott going to supermarkets that are not closed in Russia. I mean, you should boycott buying foods or brands because they're still in Russia. I mean, my God, if we all knew who owned what company back and forward and things like that, we'd never sort of buy anything. If we kind of knew who owned the iPhone, or who owned this Rode microphone, or who owned, I don't know, this mouse company, you know what I mean? Like, we would just freak out about everything, right? I mean, we just get on with it. And that's like I talked about in the live stream, in the previous live stream, it was about, I just want to live a quiet, happy life. And I'm happy, I'm happy just going to the sports center today, having soup and sushi. We went to the little, it's a supermarket, right? But it's a very small, like, convenience store one, but it's a supermarket. And I was completely happy going there and buy what we need to do, come home, do the live stream, we'd normally sit in the other room, watch movies on TV and things like that. So, Ring Bearer says, how are you being treated as a Westerner? The thing I kind of will mention, I mean, I'm very welcomed, I think, right? I mean, the only thing that's a little bit misunderstood is that I'm Australian. Okay, I was born in England. I talked about that. grown up in Australia since I was 8. Worked on cruise ships for 20 years in America. And now I'm here. And a lot of people, the minute I'm talking, let's say English, they think I'm American. And my wife has even said that to me. Don't sort of talk too loud. Don't talk too much English, because of probably an anti-sentiment towards America because of, what's going on and possible support for whichever country. I mean, I know that, especially in the town where I am here, people recognize me and welcome me and happy to see me. The bus driver, even, when I catch the bus to Moscow and back, okay, we can't probably converse with each other and speak in the language, but, it's more of a curiosity about why am I here? What do I do here? I mean, like my wife, when she's at work, and people ask about me and stuff, and what do I do for work, and do I like it? Do I love it here and everything? And I think it's just, a lot of people are kind of, why are you here? I'm here because I'm here with my wife. I like living here. I enjoy the place. I enjoy the town I live in, and everything is good, and I'm kind of good, right? So I think it's just that set of the certain countries, especially countries that are trying to maybe do by Russia, if you want to call it that, maybe is kind of the where there's that anti-sentiment towards people. I mean, they talked about it a little bit on the news about people crossing the Ukraine border to Poland, and how non-Ukrainians were not as welcomed, or they were kind of brushed aside to let the Ukrainians through the line, rather than there was some some Africans and some Middle Easterns and different things like that, who were obviously living in Ukraine with their passports. Obviously, they probably had visas or they had residency, live there, and then they were choosing to leave as well. And they were kind of not treated nicely as some of the Ukrainians were. So, yeah, it's. I hope that kind of answers your question in a roundabout way. TT says, where does most Russians getting the news from? Hope the question is okay. That's completely fine. Yes. Gary is here, who will basically delete anything that he feels isn't within reason. I think we have a nice community here that is very happy to talk about things as we do. So in terms of my wife, as a good example, if she wants to watch news, she switches the TV on in our other room, and there's more than enough news channels to watch, kind of 24-hour news channels, nightly news channels. But they're obviously all in Russian, so I don't watch them because they're not in English. They are all what's called state-controlled or state-owned, or as further down Gary says, they're government TV. So they are all, I call them state-controlled television. So basically the government run and operate them, so to speak, and then what's conveyed on the news is what they want to be conveyed on the news. So my wife would be a good example of that. She doesn't really watch any news in English because she doesn't. I watch it mostly on my computer here if I watch news in English. So her news is what she sees on the Russian televisions. And then on her phone, she has obviously it in Russian. So when she brings up like her browsers, it comes up with what's called Yandex browser, which is kind of like Google, but it's Russian version. And then that news to a point is also state controlled or government controlled. And that's what she sees and what she knows. I mean, she does use things like Instagram and WhatsApp and what's the other one? Telegram, which is the chat program. And obviously people share things in there, mostly social media kind of posts. So how she kind of interprets that news is up to her. I mean, I don't bias what she wants to watch. For me, I watch things on the internet here. So I use a VPN to get non-Russian news. So you'd end up getting, things like CNN, things like Fox, things like, I don't really watch any Australian channels. ABC News 24 I watch. I've not watched it a lot recently. I tend to switch it on at random times, and it's always on like the 7:30 report, or it's on the farm and country episodes. I never catch the news ones. So yeah, I watch in news in English. On YouTube, there's a lot of news channels as well. So if I look at the average Russian, so there's obviously a very difficult answer to who the average Russian is. But if you kind of look at anybody under, let's say 30, 40, okay, who has a mobile phone, who has internet, who has unlimited data, probably has the use of a VPN. Now they know that, a lot of things are blocked, like Twitter, Facebook. On my phone, by the way, Twitter's blocked, Facebook is blocked, Instagram is blocked. Yeah, and then quite a lot of websites are blocked as well. So if I go to websites, it may open the site, but then the images don't load, or some of the ads don't load. But would have access to social media or news that's not the mainstream Russian news. The average person, let's say older here, like I'm going to say babushka, like grandma, mum, or older mum, I guess, grandma. I don't know what the male babushka's called, but they seem to be kind of like the wise old man style, he or she, basically, they get their news from each other, like the ladies chatting to each other, but they typically wouldn't use kind of a smartphone, probably. Most of them may have one given to them by their relatives or their kids, but they still have the older push button kind of Nokia style phones, because you can still buy them here. They still work, and that's all they need, just for calling, for whatever they need it for. And they'd switch on their TV in their lounge room or their bedroom or kitchen or wherever they live in their house, and that news is what they see. That's what they know. That's the channels they've got, and how they then interpret it, short of going to going downstairs and sitting next to each other at the park bench and having their chit chat to each other. That's the news that they have. So I hope that kind of answers that question. I will answer things a little bit longer than what people are used to, unfortunately, but I think it's just relevant that people kind of I give you that kind of feedback. I think China owns a lot of Australian companies, especially in the timber industry. Yeah, also mining as well, oil and gas, mining. We don't really talk about timber much in WA, apart from there's a little bit of it down south, but over east, you guys have got a lot more timber industry than we've got in WA. We tend to talk about mining, especially iron ore up north, so... quiet and happy is good, says Craggy. It's all we need, and access to beer helps, or wherever is your poison. And potatoes, right? You told me to get some potatoes. We didn't buy potatoes today when we were at the store, though. We bought, what did we buy? Bought water, because I had to carry the big 5-liter bottle of water. I bought some chocolate that I've eaten already, unfortunately. I bought some Alpine Gold chocolate that I've already eaten. I bought some oranges. My wife got some chicken, because we were going to cook for dinner. And then when we decided to go out for a meal, we've got food now for tomorrow. So, you must miss Bunnings snags on weekends. Yes, in Rockingham, they've got one up the road, the Rockingham one. My wife even knows about Bunnings sausage sizzles. And she wonders why everybody wants to go to Bunnings on the weekend. And we want to go just for the sausage sizzle. We might not want something in Bunnings. And the apartment where we lived in, right, we didn't have any, we just had a balcony, and my mum brought plants over and some table and chairs and everything. And we didn't really have any need to buy anything in Bunnings over the time that we were at home. So yes, that would be a massive, great idea at the Leroy Merlin here, or that kind of place. Lauren says, do you use Telegram? I do. Yeah, I don't really have like that massive list of people or groups like everybody does have. I chat with my dad on there, my mum and dad, and a couple of friends. Literally, I probably don't use it enough because I don't really have enough people that use it. Now that my like Facebook doesn't work on my phone, when I tend to catch the bus or train anywhere, I sit and use my phone a lot. You know, when I'm on the phone on the train and bus with no apps to use, I should probably get more people on Telegram. But yeah, I do use it. I was using it for a long time, even well, I wouldn't say probably the whole time I was with my wife here. Actually, my wife and I are on Telegram to chat to each other. Male babushka is called a devushka. Oh, I didn't know that. I always thought devushka is girl. Isn't devushka a girl? Or dedushka? I think devushka is like young girl. Devushka. Maybe it's dedushka. I guess that's just the spelling that you've got there. I'm not sure. Potatoes goes without saying. Thank you, Craggy. Yes. Yeah, katochka is potato. Tell it like it is, Gary. That's exactly right. Can you get Vegemite or Milo here? We cannot get either of them. My wife doesn't like it either. I've tried to get her onto Milo. She actually does drink Nestle. Is it Nestle is the hot chocolate? Nestle? I think that's the one that she gets. She doesn't like Vegemite at all. I bought it for her here. I brought it here before. She doesn't like it. People that we've given it to doesn't like it. Yeah, so I was thinking, what is the male? Oh, grandpa. Dedushka is grandpa. Devushka is girl. Right. Dedushka. Wow, that's very close wording. Thank you, Riga. Riga. Yeah, I should have a couple of like Russians in the chat as my backup for all the words that I don't know. So yeah, funny enough, Lauren, when I went to film a video yesterday, which I'm going to hopefully get out tomorrow, hopefully, I went to an outlet mall. So yeah, if you know what outlet malls are, I went to an outlet mall here in Moscow. Let me see if I can get that photo up for you. It's not that many photos ago. Where are we? Oh, I'll show you this one first. That was me watching football today. That's my computer set up here by the window, and someone just scored a goal. So, where is the photo that I took? So at the supermarket I went to yesterday. This may be very hard to see, which would be a very shame. They had Australian tomato ketchup for grown-ups for 885 rubles, which is about $13 Australian. Yeah, and I'd never seen that before, and I Googled it, and it's obviously a kind of like a boutique brand of ketchup. And I never even recognized it in Coles and Woolies where I was working at home. So I did my absolute best when I went to. I didn't film in that supermarket, by the way. So the video you watch will be primarily about the outdoor outlet mall. So I hope you're ready for that one tomorrow. I think it'll be ready tomorrow at some point. I don't want to post videos too quickly because I've got to go film new videos quicker, right? So, I heard Russian Novikov is very popular. Is it true? I don't know what this is, so I'm going to Google it while we talk to each other for a second. Or is that? Oh, maybe that's not a nice word. Okay, that's going away. Sorry, everyone. Maybe that's not a nice word. I don't know what it means. So if you want to tell me it in English, that would be very nice. Tony Gallardi would love it there. Yes, the Potato King. He would love it. Yes. He wouldn't even have to like do anything special because here, even in the supermarkets, they've got the potato bins and the carrot bins and everything already. So he would have a field day here. He would have hundreds of stores within weeks because what he does would suit Russia down to a T. He doesn't need to do anything special. He needs to open a store, good prices, always in stock. Bang. Loving your videos. Thank you, Anthony. Oh, is that Tony's Talks? Anthony Harris, I think it is, aka Tony Talks. Thank you that you're enjoying the videos, and I hope your channel gets famous and you get successful as well. I think you've got a good niche what you do, and you've got a great. By the way, everyone in the chat, this is Anthony Harris, which is a relative of my family in England, and he's a very, very knowledgeable about English football or soccer. Sorry, Anthony. Ketchup. That means it's a ketchup. That means sauce. If it's Australian, that means sauce. If it's Australian, yeah, it's. I'd never heard of it before, Lauren. Yeah, no Vegemite in Canada. I would like to try some Russian food or borscht. I guess pancakes with jam, Bellini. Yeah, borscht is actually Ukrainian. I understand, and I'm very bad that all the things that I think are Russian are not, and everything that I think is Ukrainian is Russian. In the time when it's all crazy like this, so yeah. If you're in GTA or GVA or Calgary, there are plenty of Russian places. Oh, there we go. Rigo. Yeah, what's some other Russian things that are very Russian? I guess just having Russian food. I like like winter salad, Olivia salad. It's kind of like potato salad, but with a few more different ingredients. Thank you, Gary, for posting a little heads up there. Australian adult ketchup, that's in the kids version, probably rainbows. Yeah, it's a little bit different, or a little bit strange. I don't know. So I'd never heard of it. I guess whoever that company is, was probably tired of Heinz ketchup, as a brand. So you're going for a special operation. Agostino Langelotti. That's very Italian. So how's it going? I work with a lot of Italian on the cruise ships over the years, and I've learned to love and respect their food a lot more than I ever did before. Never go to cities. Benjim said he lives in a small town by the Pacific Ocean, but never go to the big cities. Pacific Ocean. So I've been over. Where did we go to? In further up the coast of California, where there's got the aquarium there. I don't know where that's called, but not San Francisco, but we went to a small town that had a big aquarium where the ship was at. I don't know the name of it. So yeah, so another thing that I want to bring up is about the comments in the channel. So obviously now a lot of the videos I post have 100, 200, 300 comments and so many replies. I mean, I was making a point to try to reply to every comment, thumbs up and heart on every one. Obviously, it's weird that I put a heart on a comment which may not be heartful or putting a heart on. So that's kind of a little bit wrong in a way. But there was a few people that said that my videos are propaganda. Now, I'm not afraid of saying that word. So I just to respond to that. So some people, actually, there was a Russian guy that did quite a few replies on a lot of videos. I'm not sure who that person is, but he basically backed up a lot of the comments with positive answers to everything. Blogging Trucker, how's it going? Good to see you in the chat. I did give you a heads up to try to be here, and you're here, so that's really nice of you to be in the live chat. Yeah, so somebody said there that the videos are propaganda for the West to watch, and that the videos are kind of set up. Now, I don't know how it's even possible to make a fake supermarket and have fake shoppers and have fake food, and none of the supermarket was real people. They were all actors. That's what, according to one comment. Actually, quite a few comments mentioned the word propaganda, but there was quite a one that was rather detailed that went on and on and on about how it's not real. And the food on the shelves is all fake, and they were just empty boxes. Why is all the people in the supermarket doesn't have food in their shopping baskets as well, by the way? So that last video that I put out, which was I guess I call it Russian suburban supermarket, because I consider it in the Moscow region. It's not really where I live. I'd have to take the bus, but the bus takes me to the nearest metro station, which is Salarevo, and then the shopping center is called Solaris. So I'm not expecting whoever's reading comments to kind of maybe watch this video, but I guess I'm sort of answering that question. And that supermarket, Globus, is basically one of the anchor tenants of that shopping center. And actually, if you watch Inside Russia's videos, he did a video quite similar to what I did. And he actually, I met him there, and then I think the day after or so, he made the video. I think his wife went shopping with him, because I noticed that she was in one scene of it, and I imagine she held the camera for a lot of the filming of it, where typically he does a lot of selfie recording. So we go to the same shopping center. He actually lives very close to that shopping center compared to where I live. I'm about 30 minutes away, I guess by car probably 20, and he'd be 5 minutes away from it. So we have been to the same supermarket. So why do people have full baskets in the supermarket? Now, that shopping center doesn't have a lot of housing around it immediately, right? So people either take the bus or the metro there, and people do drive there and park their car there. But I reckon more than half of the people would catch the bus or the metro out of that shopping center. So if you go to the local shopping center where you live in the world, like in Australia, I go to Rockingham City Shopping Center from Rockingham, and I'd reckon 99% of people, 95%, 99% would drive there and park their car there, go shopping there, and go home. And that would be pretty much any suburban shopping center in Perth, barring going to the CBD, where you could catch the train in or the bus in. But any shopping center where I worked at Carousel, which is a regional one in Perth. It's the second biggest one in WA, in my city. And again, I reckon that's probably about 90% of people would drive to that shopping center and drive home. That Carousel where I worked, it did actually have a train and a bus station there, so there'd be some public transport people coming in there. So when you go in your car shopping, you would do trolley shopping in a supermarket. You would buy more things. And it would be very easy to buy more things and walk to your car and drive home. So like with Constantine and his wife, he would naturally drive there in his car. When I met him, he drove there. He parked underground because the travelator up to the shopping level, So, and people would do trolley shopping. So when you see like me walking around there, and you see a lot of people with that just like a little push cart, small basket, or they've just got the basket on their hand, or they've got just things in their hand, they're probably catching a bus from that bus station and that supermarket and shopping center. So they don't want to go home with a lot of stuff because it's just awkward. And then very typically, the average Russian, like especially in the town where I live, we would literally go in the elevator down from where we live. We actually have one little supermarket where we live called Fasol. Where we went today, where we just picked up the car from, it was in our old apartment building down the street. We went to Pitorichka, or it's called 5. Pitorichka means 5. And we did our shopping there. We actually just got one shopping bag worth and a bottle of water because we just didn't need everything. But very typically, most Russians buy food for today or tomorrow. They just plan for dinner tonight or lunch tomorrow or breakfast or for a day or two at the most. So where you see a ton of people in that supermarket, in that last supermarket video that I did, there was fake actors that were doing fake shopping and buying, fake things off the shelves. They weren't buying a lot of things because they were actors. They didn't need the food, right? They were going to put it back and leave and get paid. But very, very, very typically, and this is very normal. If there's any Russians that are in the chat, please tell me that or back it up in the comments of the video. That people just do small day-to-day shopping where they live, and there's virtually no difference in prices. What we bought today here would have been the same exact price if we would have bought it at Globus. That was called Globus, that supermarket. And then the other video I made was at Ashan, and that would have very similar pricing at Ashan as well. So, it's not propaganda. It's not fake news. I was working in supermarkets for a year and a half that I was in Australia. So I'm very comfortable walking around the supermarket in circles. I'm very comfortable, doing things in supermarkets. My wife hates when we go to supermarkets together. And because I go start tidying up shelves, or I face things up on the shelves, or I turn things around, I neaten up the signage on the stripping. And my wife, and like today when we were there, actually, I straightened up the baskets at the cash register where we had to pay, because people just dump them and walk out. And the cash register lady doesn't seem to feel responsible to tidy them up when she's quiet, which I don't know, she could have, but they just don't. And when I put them all neatly there, she comes up and she goes, "Oh, thank you." And I'm like, "Oh, welcome, no worries. Anything you need, just let me know." So I hope that answers the propaganda or the fake video question. Craigie says, people are so weird, OBVS. It's all sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors. People believe actually what they are saying. They are more detached from reality than it is healthy. They need help. Yeah, it's just think that I've just started making videos. I've started I'm back again. Sorry, did everybody leave? I think nobody's here now. So yeah, it's very, very real. So these fake actors were all buying fake tan. I saw it. Expensive lotions. Yeah, I guess in that suburban shopping center and where I was yesterday and where I live here, you don't see that fake person. Like the ones that wear makeup and fancy cars and jewelry and all this and handbags and I guess superficial people, I guess you'd call it. If you go to Moscow center and you walk down some of the streets, you will see that person with the big mink coat on and scarf and handbag and and carrying the little dog under their arm. And there is that person, is the camera, what's going on? I'm here. Is the volume working, anybody? Can anyone hear me? Please tell me that I'm live. Tell me that it's working, anybody, if you can see or hear me. Settings, webcam, audio, microphone, everything should be up and running and going super well. Picture is gone. What happened? Houston, we have a problem. You're breaking up. Many Russian vloggers. Those fake actors are wearing fake tan. I don't know what's going on. Tell me that you can see me. Let me close that, open that. Guess I don't really need that, do I? I guess I do, because I shouldn't be bringing up some of the comments. That's the first problem. Where are we? Let's get back to if we can get this working. Analytics. Oh, I'm coming through loud and clear. Oh, thank you. Lauren says, do Russians, where are we here? Who live in rural areas. Some guy's got his car stereo blaring away downstairs. Wow, sorry. Do Russians who live in rural areas grow a lot of their own produce? Yes, they do. Yes. I haven't been to like the truly rural areas. I have been on a couple of road trips with my wife's friends, and we have stayed at her friend's dacha or country house, and her mum grows everything there, particularly obviously spring, summertime now. So she'll be starting seeding everything and growing everything. And it's very normal, especially in the country areas, that people do grow their own. I mean, do they grow more than they need to sell it? Probably not. They just grow for themselves. Maybe they'll swap with their neighbors' things. I know when we were there, she was growing rhubarb, potatoes. She had strawberries and raspberries growing. I'm not sure what tree she had. She had a few trees, but I didn't see what. Oh, apples. There was apples in the tree. So yeah, it reminds me of Australia. It's fake and everyone is an actor. Yeah, we all wrestle crocodiles, right? Slower than recommended bitrate. We recommend that you use the bitrate of 120 open widget. It's healthy is excellent. What's going on? It tells me everything is excellent. Enable this, enable that. Everything's enabled. All right, we'll push on. Many Russian vloggers are showing some supermarket prices. I don't doubt truth a bit. Yes, I did notice a couple of videos. I don't watch every video, every way through. I tend to sometimes watch people, how they make the video and how it comes across in terms of how they've edited it or what they've added or deleted from the video. I'm watching it from that point of view. I don't necessarily watch the videos to take the information in. So the manager of our biggest supermarket built a huge pyramid of toilet paper. Yeah, that's was a big thing when it was all out of stock. There's plenty here. I've not seen any. There wouldn't really be shortages of things that are made here that can be supplied here. The population of Moscow is somewhere about 15 million. Maybe some people even say 16, 18, 19. So, they've got to have that infrastructure to support the population. They really do. So, yeah, do you I think we've got no. Okay. Do you think there is still a lot of Western products that will disappear from the shops like Nestle? You know what? I've not seen anything like that disappear. I think it's probably still too early in terms of, the stock levels, the back stock levels, the supply chain hasn't essentially kicked in, or the lack of supply chain hasn't kicked in. I think it's probably going to be a good few months before, you see things genuinely empty. I think the few things that I'm pointing out in my videos in the supermarket are where people have stocked up and bought more things than they should have, like the sugar thing, like the salt, lady products, maybe the Lay's chips, because they, that's their favorite American chips, and now they're going to have to eat Russian potato chips. So I think things may disappear, I guess, once the supply chain issues kick in, but I reckon it's not for a good few months. I hope that's still the same. Back, 5x5. Here you're fine. Still okay. Thanks, everyone. Craggy can hear. Bin Jim, TT, Lauren. Thanks, everybody, for typing Thunderbirds a go. Thanks, Craggy. We grow a big potato in Washington, D.C. I guess you're talking about that guy that's on the news a lot. Oh, we started growing vegetables when lockdown started. Yeah, my parents don't do anything like that. They kill all the things that they grow, not grow them. I did have this idea of growing things on the balcony in Rockingham when we were living there, but I'm just not. I get all excited to do things, and then I just don't do them, and it's very bad of me. I thought potatoes came from Idaho, right? I ride my moose into the forest and gather tree sap. What country am I in? Is that Canada? Is the a moose? Mooses are in Canada, aren't they? I think so. Biggest potatoes in the White House. Canada. Did someone say potatoes? Yeah, and you guys in Ireland big into potatoes as well, right? I think I don't know, they're the biggest eater of them or supplier of them or whatever. Yeah, hard to grow stuff in Perth. The sun kills it. Absolutely, yeah. And the amount of watering that you need to do as well, especially summertime, just constantly need watering everything. I've never seen the potatoes in the White House. I've seen the Rose Garden. Never thought they had a veggie patch. You've pants made of potatoes. How do they do that? Is it kind of like the byproduct of it and stuff like that, like hemp? Like they've got hemp stores now where you can buy everything like hemp everything, can't you? So yeah, I think that answers one of the main questions is about those everything's propaganda. It's like those. Was it during the war? During the 1942 times. They dropped like leaflets from aeroplanes, didn't they? Supposedly. You got potatoes in your pants. Maybe you got ants in your pants. Potatoes in your pants. I'm ringing Tony tomorrow with a business plan. I'm here if he needs me, by the way. I can start up the store there. I did some refits in Woolies, so I know how to start a store up. And I did some startups on cruise ships too, where we actually opened the shops from the shipyard. Actually, the ones in Helsinki. And I've done them in Italy as well. So yeah, it's kind of like starting up a store in Perth, but you do it on a cruise ship in the other side of the world. Yeah, so I've got a drink here today too, by the way. I know it's orange juice. It's purely orange juice. And I think the carton's even behind me. See, this is how Russian it is, right? It's called Global Village brand of orange juice. And this carton of orange juice was 89 rubles, 89 cents, American cents. So about $1 Australian or so for a carton of orange juice. Yeah, if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about here, Tony Galati is a potato farmer who's based in WA or Western Australia or Perth, and he has a chain of supermarkets called Spud Shed. So Spud being the kind of slang word for potato. And he obviously started out selling vegetables and things like that. And he opened a chain of, well, mostly of the 24-hour now, aren't they? 24-hour vegetable markets. And he's got everything in there now. It's like a variety supermarket. And he's had big, never-ending kind of arguments with the government about the supply and selling of potatoes. There's a potato board in Australia, kind of like a governing body of potato distribution. And he's kind of against all of that. And it should be like there should be a free market or a free economy for the sale and supply of potatoes. And quite often he has a lot of promotions that he runs in his supermarkets. He gives potatoes away, literally. Come shopping, free potatoes. Or, he just recently did the one for the fundraising for telethon. And you can get a free bag of potatoes. I think you have to pay like a donation to get a bag of potatoes. Very, very Aussie looking guy. He wears shorts and a singlet, and he's got big bushy eyebrows across his forehead. He's very iconic, like the look of him, right? And he's very family orientated. And I live my parents live very close to the one in Baldivis. Sounds like a great guy, Lauren. Yes. Yeah, I've never met him. I don't know what he'd be like for an answer, but he killed a potato board by giving away tons of them. Yeah, right. Didn't he like dump them or something, right? Like he tipped out the trucks of them and just gave them all away just to basically, because he couldn't sell them because they were limiting how many he could sell. He was limited on what amount he could sell in his stores. So he said, well, okay, then I can't sell them. I'm going to dump them. And literally he just opened the backs of trucks and tipped them out, essentially giving them away to customers and people that loves it. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. I mean, the Spud Shed thing, because it's basically like a little warehouse, like a storage for potatoes, right? But it's a supermarket. So there's no fancy building, no fancy ceilings, not really any fancy lighting. It's almost like a fridge when you go in there. It's always super cold because it's all refrigerated for all the fruit and vegetables. Craggy is a man for potatoes. He is. Yes. He's our potato man, I guess. Sorry, Craggy. They accused him of growing more than he was allowed. Yeah, right. I think it was just a supply issue, right? Like I don't know the exact what happened, but for the 20 years that I was on cruise ships in America, it was like I was kind of in this bubble where you kind of don't know anything that's happening outside of this bubble. You don't get illnesses, you don't get sick, you don't get anything. You just live your life on a cruise ship in the bubble, like in a snow globe, shake it up. And that was my life on the cruise ships. So, by the way, we've got 17 likes. So we have more likes than people that are in the chat. So thank you very much. We were I was last live stream. We had a few super chats, super stickers. I did clear that up for quite a few people because there seemed to be a bit of confusion about how the payment comes through, if you like, especially if you're maybe giving super chats to other creators or content creators, they like to call themselves. So it really is dependent on the accounts or bank accounts that the person has registered with Google as to how they can access the money. Man, essentially, actually, as of today or this morning, so my wife has found a lady in Perth through a Facebook group, a Russian Facebook group, and a community on Facebook, who is going to help us out with. So I'm going to send her money in from my bank account to hers in Perth. So I've got ANZ Bank. That's the bank that I bank with. She banks with Westpac. That's the bank she banks with. So I'm just going to do a bank-to-bank transfer to send her cash physically or electronically. And then she will... so today's Sunday now. So basically, we were going to do it yesterday or today. It doesn't matter now because the banks are closed on the weekend. And then she will then put money in my wife's bank account. So her husband he still runs a business in Novosibirsk, which is another city in Russia. And then I imagine either his bank account or hers, she's going to put money in our bank, whatever the going bank rate is, I guess Monday or Tuesday. Pretty sure it'll take 2 days to send money because basically I can't use my Visa card here now because that's cut off. And I can't use my ATM card. So my Australian bank accounts completely work, but not in Russia. So I can definitely get super chats, super stickers, everything through what I'm doing here because it will go to my Australian bank account and it's not affected by anything in Russia because nothing is linked to anything in Russia. The one thing that we were doing, we were just using my card, especially from the payments monthly. Pretty much that's from the cruise channel where I haven't done any now for God knows 3 weeks on that channel. So I've just found there's just no growth and nothing that people want to watch about cruise ships when I'm sitting in a kitchen, so if that makes sense. So yeah, so today, well, now I won't send it tonight, but I was going to send this money to this lady tomorrow morning because I know then it will go through the banking tomorrow or the next day. And then she'll then give my wife the money. When she does the transfer in Russian banks, it's instant. So literally within, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. When we do bank to bank in Australia, if it's not the same company, like Westpac and ANZ are not the same banks, it's normally like 1 day delayed. If my house in Australia that I'm mortgaged and renting out is with Commonwealth Bank, that if I do Commonwealth to Commonwealth, it's instant. It's amazing in Australia in 2022, we can't do instant banking. And here in Moscow, if I catch the bus driver lets you put money onto his phone to pay, like SberBank is the one that we're going to do with this lady, with my wife. SberBank, SBER Bank, SberBank. And he literally gives you a little chitty of paper that's got a phone number on it. And you transfer, if I catch the bus and pay cash, this is how weird it is. It's 90 rubles. So 90 cents American, about $1, just over $1 Australian, to catch the bus to the mall to Solaris. The metro is 46 rubles. So the metro anywhere in Moscow is the 46 rubles. If I catch that same bus and pay by bank transfer, it's 70 rubles. So you can catch the bus and pay, but you're paying it into his bank account. So he gives you a chitty with his phone number, and it's a phone number that you do a bank transfer on, which until my wife was doing nails in Australia, I never knew you could do that. So, and Kragi here has kind of broken the ice, I guess, tonight and made £5 a donation. Like, do you call it a donation or super chat? Donation. Yeah, so Craigie, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it towards... Okay, so the lunch we went for today was my wife's paying for it. Essentially, whenever I can't use my cards here whatsoever, I can't just go and pay like I used to. So I would just tap my card and pay for things, PIN number if you had to put it in, And now, no matter what, she's still got to pay. So even if this lady puts the money in the bank in a couple of days' time, it's still, she's still going to pay. So hopefully she'll give me some cash. We'll take some cash from the machine and I can then just pay physically and it feels like I'm paying, So yeah, more like 3 days is what TT says in Australia. Yeah, I know it's normally like with Commonwealth Bank, like if I do it between my dad and I, or sometimes we owe each other money back and forward, it's instant because it's the same bank. But I'm not sure for this one with hers is Westpac that the account she's given us. So yeah. So thank you, Craggy. You're a super nice guy. And again, in the previous live stream as well, you did a couple of super chats, which was amazing as well. So yeah, that photo I'm going to put up tomorrow. I'm going to do that same one when we go out next month with my wife. Actually, that's the one of her. She'll hate me showing this. That's the one of her having noodles. Is that darker? There we go. She was having some noodles there. We thought we'd actually given each other the wrong dish because we kind of ordered almost the same thing, but hers was like noodles and mine was noodles but with beef. Mine was more like a ramen, Russian ramen. I don't know how you would say that, but yeah. What's some of the other comments that I got brought up? It was mostly about this whole propaganda thing, which was just, of course, essentially I'm blamed for everything that's happening. It's my fault. What am I doing here? You need to leave. You should get out of the country. It's not safe. Yeah, so thank you, Gary, for the little timing heads up. If anyone's going to be watching over on Inside Russia's channel, I'm going to leave Craiggie's little donation thing up here. So, Craigie, I also saw that you had like some YouTube videos on your channel because I was kind of looking you up on if I could look you up on Facebook, but you had like some like these treasure chest boxes opening, which is kind of like a little bit different videos, I guess. Yeah. So yesterday, the video I made yesterday, which will come out in a day or two's time, was walking around an outlet mall. So very strange to have an outdoor shopping center in Russia, especially with the weather. So I don't know how people, I don't know, interpret that as being fake. All the cars maybe were, have you ever heard of the word cannon fodder? Cannon fodder? So they say that basically in times of, I guess, military action, we can say that word, right? They put people out front, yeah, who are basically like the front line. And they're the ones that possibly would get injured or something would happen to them. Oh, yeah, I should stop the chat by then. Right. Yeah. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, absolutely. The cannon fodder. What was I saying now? Oh, my gosh. Anyway, cannon fodder. What was I talking about? Oh, thanks, everybody. I'm getting crazy. I'm talking about one thing, and then, yeah, people are going to think that the cars are going to be like cardboard cars, like I was saying about cannon fodder. So they have like cardboard tanks, that they take to the front line in battle. So it looks from the other side like there's a lot of tanks, but they're just cardboard tanks. They're not real. So people are going to think that in the video that I made, where I talk about, the cars in the car park are going to not be real. It's not real people. Because actually, when I walked around, it seemed very quiet, right? There was tons of cars in the car park. And then when you kind of walk around a outdoor outlet mall, it just feels very quiet everywhere. And there's just not people, which is very true because everyone's just so spread out everywhere, and, some shops were packed. Some shops had none in them. I did go to a supermarket there. That's where I got that ketchup photo from. and I think I'm going to go back there and make, if I can make a video of that supermarket, because it was like a gourmet luxury supermarket. Luxury. Kind of like the one at Gum, but kind of more for everyday shoppers, but still very fancy inside. So, by the way, 19 people watching. I'm just amazed that we, I think was that the peak of the most people watching? Chat rate? No. Views? No. I like all these different graphs. I think that was the most people, was it? Or was it 20? Was the most people we had live in here. So, Neva Gerber. Oh, Neva Gerber, how's it going? You were in the last chat with us. Russell, do you like to live in Russia? What do you think about Russians in general? I do like it here. The biggest thing that I struggle with is that I don't speak in sort of conversation Russian. I can say some words, I can, get across what I'm trying to say if I can't say it. And that's probably the biggest, the biggest difficulty in terms of getting to know people better. I think, the stereotypes of Russia is true to an extent. You know what I mean? Do they all drink vodka? Do they all eat potatoes? Do they all, I don't know, Far East and, go ice fishing and things like that? Not really. Not really all Russians drink vodka. That's a big misnomer. Is the babushka grandmother downstairs sitting on the chair chatting to her neighbor? Absolutely. Are they in town doing that? Yes, they are. It's people still have the same values. They've got kids. Kids go to school. Parents go to school. Mums stay at home. You know what I mean? There's still that normalness to it. A lot of people live in apartments here, which is very different from Australia. I mean, I reckon, let's say, more than half the population live in apartments. I don't know what the percentage would be. I reckon it's 60, 70%, 80%. So everyone kind of learns to live how they live and are happy how they live. Whereas in Australia, it'd be more typical to want to buy a house or build a house or own a house and have a garden, have a dog, have a patio, have a pool. Do you like living here? I do. I like the town I live in. I like the fact that I can walk to places. I talked about this a little bit in the other live stream, but I like the fact that everything's very close. It's convenient, which is not as much in Australia. I mean, I couldn't just walk downstairs and go to a supermarket. I couldn't just walk to, yesterday I went to the other market yesterday to buy pork. So I wouldn't just, walk to the butchers and buy some pork, or, there's a much simpler lifestyle here, that doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, things in terms of doing paperwork here for, buying a house or getting a loan or, doing official things here are very strung out and very, paperwork orientated, and getting things stamped and getting things approved can be difficult, but it's just part of life here. And you just have to, Russian style, I say. It's when actually people say, oh, Russian style, and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I've learned to live with what I've got here. And I, if I could say the word bitch, I don't bitch and moan, because I know this is just how the life is, do Russians have a good sense of humor? I think they do. I don't talk to really a lot where there's me talking to someone in Russian. Once I could probably learn the language better. I know when I go around to friends' houses or I go with my wife to her friends, they're laughing and carrying on all day, all night. reminiscing or talking about the past or maybe the future. And so I think, they do. I mean, Russians at first, when you meet them, don't come across that way. They're very stone cold, straight-faced people. And once you meet them and get to know them, and it gets better, right? And the interaction with people gets better. So you should do a blog on car things, Gary. Yes, I'm gonna have to figure out where I can go to do that. Now that Konstantin's not here, he was kind of my go-to where we could do that kind of thing together, and go and check out things quite easily. Like in terms of him driving somewhere. I do have another YouTube friend that I really want to go to, like a car shop, like an auto parts dealer. Actually, we kind of did mention this with each other. TT is off to bed. Yep, I'm going to end the stream fairly soon. Not just yet, but fairly soon. I'm not sure what my time frame is, but not too far away. Ross says, having a 2-car garage right off my street, I absolutely couldn't deal with an apartment parking in Russia. Yeah, so if you have watched any other YouTubers or people where they've got it in the background, people don't have parking here where you park underground, or like in my apartment in Australia, I would park underneath the building. We were on the first floor and the parking was underneath, and we had electronic gate. It was very fancy. It was all way above me, but I had a little button that opened the the gate. You'd pull in and then it would close behind you on a sensor. But here, people just park on the street anywhere. They're like, the car that I did the little car rental today. I just dropped my wife off and I actually parked just on the same street, but I was only a few spots down. I just literally just pulled in, left the car. The only thing like that is if you do have a car is you're not guaranteed a spot to park up every day. So that's the only awkward part about that. I was just going to look up here. Where is it? It's called Belka Car. This was the app that I used today. Oh, it's not. It doesn't have a name on it. There it is. That's the map that tells you it's loading the cars. Can you see that? It's telling us that's a Prelivka. Where I live right here. That little arrow is me. And they're all the cars that are available for rent right now. So you can literally choose a car on the map. There's actually a ton because everyone's obviously come home now. And then Volkswagen Polo right there. It's got 60 kilometers of petrol in it. And it's going to cost 9 cents per minute to rent the car. So, and that's it. That's what a car rental costs here. So the ride that we took today cost us $2.96. There it goes. That was the car rental that we did. Drive very far, you can see. It's and we had a little Kia. So we had a Volkswagen Polo. And we just drove to the sports stadium and back. And that was the car rental that I did. It cost $3 to rent a car for. We're probably at least, I don't know what 9 cents a minute would be. So I don't know. It felt like an hour or two, hour and a half. Craigie says, it's good to be happy with your lot. Life is what you make of it. If you have the essentials, everything else is a bonus. Yes, I have the essentials. I need the camera, though, the better camera. So I've got a nice YouTuber's camera that would do the video here. I've got everything else set up to do that. Just the camera is the bit that I'm a bit behind on getting. Good night. I'm saying TT. Gary, you just called her tree. TT. So what you're saying is an American might have a rough go on the first date with a Russian girl. Yes. I think I think, once people come, Russia's like, and can live how Russians live, if that makes sense. Um, and you can kind of adapt to the lifestyle here and fit in, everything's good, right? So where you watch an American that's here in Russia on a YouTube channel, for instance, or a Canadian or a British guy, and once you kind of learn to live the life of the country you're in, this could probably go for anywhere, really. I think it becomes normal and you accept, what it is and how things work, right? And, so, going on a first date with a Russian, yeah, you got to pay for everything. They want flowers. They expect flowers a lot. In a small way, the woman is worshipped here. I know it may not seem and look like it, and the woman is the housemaker, has the kids, makes all the food. The man goes off to work. The man comes home. But, in the opposite, the woman is worked as well, and I guess that's my opinion of it. Miko says, how long have I been in Russia? 9 years on and off, between when I first met my wife and I was then getting married and then working on cruise ships in between. So flying from here back to America and back to the ships. So on and off for 9 years now. And I should know more Russian. Ross, this is not a singles. It's not a singles channel. Sorry, I think that was okay to post that. Niva says, what was the most surprising things in Russia? And what is your opinion about safety in Moscow compared to Australia? What's the most surprising things in Russia? I think, now I know this is not the answer, but I'd say that the lawlessness of things, if that's the word, that's not the right word. In terms of the fact that, you can get away with a lot more things here, even with how you drive, how you live, if you like. You know what I mean? You do things that you need to do and you live how you want to live, and everyone lives how they want to live, and that's it, right? You're not bound by as many rules. I mean, there is rules, there is laws, there is the government, there is the police, there is military. But if you're not, crossing that boundary of that, you're good, and everybody's good. Does that make sense? What's the most surprising thing in Russia? I think, in terms of working in retail all my life, I'd say the selection of things in the stores. I mean, I know I've put that across in a lot of videos. Of course, when you're in Red Square and in Moscow, it's all wow because it's very old. Australia is not old. We don't have the old architecture or anything like that. And that's, what separates Australia a lot. If I want to compare that apples for apples, people love their summers here. People do love the winters. They love their summers. They're swimming in the ponds and the lakes and the rivers in summertime. They've got their shirts off. They're sunbathing in the parks, and they appreciate that weather difference. In Australia, you know what I mean? It's hot. Okay, that's it. Do we go to the beach? No, we don't. Some people do. What's your opinion of safety here? I feel very safe here. I don't feel any problems or worries about my safety walking the streets, even walking them at night, going into Moscow center in the evenings. There's a lot of people everywhere. I'm sure there is bad parts of town. There is bad suburbs that I probably shouldn't be at. I would happily get in a jacket now, go walk. Okay, now shops are closed, 10 o'clock, but I'd walk to the shop and back now, not feel any problems. In Perth, I wouldn't go into the city at night, into the CBD, or there's a nightclub area called Northbridge. I wouldn't catch a train at night or after dark if I needed to or wanted to. I mean, there's more than enough police here if something was to happen. There's more than enough military if something was to happen. You know what I mean? If you're not doing anything wrong, you know, you just live your life, everything's good. And Nova, thank you, 1999. Thank you very much. It's warmed up a bit here in Kansas City to 10 Celsius. Yeah, you're nice and warm. Okay, the kitchen's not changed a whole lot, 26.1. And outside 5.4 on the balcony. That's the balcony. That's not, what's the Weather Bureau say? The Weather Bureau. These guys are incredibly accurate, by the way, the weather here. -5, feels like -12. And tomorrow is going to be chance of snow, +7, down to +1. I think that's not, well, I guess it might be. I guess once the wind dies down and the wind chill goes away, it'll warm up a little bit. Nova, thank you very much. Enova, sorry. Oh, was it James or John? I forgot your first name. James? I should have known your first name. Sorry. Lauren says, we watch Russian YouTuber Dan Sikoz. It gives us a better understanding of Russian life. Lovely guy. Yeah, I talked about this in my other live stream because I watched a guy that doesn't like him and did a couple of live streams talking about that he doesn't like him and all the negative things about him. And I think he comes across as a lovely guy and everything lovely, because everything I see in his videos is everything he's in a regional area of Russia. I don't know the exact city, but yeah, adorables. Thanks, Ross. And everything that I see in his videos is exactly what's here in Moscow. So the same petrol stations, same supermarket, same shopping centers, same, he shows his dacha or his country house, same thing. So I think from my side, watching other Russian YouTubers, I can completely agree with everything I see in their videos. I mean, back to this whole propaganda thing. I mean, how does he know so much English? How does he speak so well? Why does he have 200,000 subscribers and million view videos? Why does he suddenly start talking about sanctions when he never did in his last 100 videos? But yeah, I think lovely guy suits him perfectly well. I've still got 50 minutes. What? Because I've got the time right or wrong. Oh, right. So he starts at 11, not 10. That's what I was thinking. Oh, thank you, Gary. Mark Sloat says, is it true that police can pull you over and ask for a bribe? Yes, I've actually had to pay a bribe. And I thought a second time I had to pay a bribe as well, and I didn't. Yeah, a couple of years ago when we did a car rental, like I showed you there, we drove actually to IKEA. Where did we go? We went out that way. We kind of got lost because my wife was holding my phone for the navigator, and I don't have a way on the car that I rent here like that to click it on the dashboard. So I missed a turn, and I say this to this day, if I never turned, whatever it was, left instead of right instead of left, never come around that corner, the guy would have never flagged us over. We paid 5,000 rubles, which is now $50 with the exchange rate, but with the old exchange rate, it was more like $100. Essentially, I didn't have the correct documentation for my driver's license. So where you're meant to have a international driver's license, which I have, it wasn't translated in Russian, which it doesn't have to be. So he came up with all sorts of mumbo jumbo to my wife. He quoted the Geneva Convention. I think it was the Warsaw Convention. He quoted to her because my wife didn't even know what that was. And he ended up throwing a cigarette box into the back seat of the car through the window. My wife had to pick that up. Unfortunately, that was the smallest bill she had. she would have given him only 1,000 or 2,000 if we had less. But we'd got money out of the bank to go pay our rent because we were kind of heading home. I think we'd gone to IKEA beforehand, and we were going home. And we'd got money out of the bank after we'd gone shopping, I think it was, to pay our rent. And she put the 5,000 because that's the small she said. Because I asked her afterwards, what did he give him? 5,000. I'm like, what? $100? Come on. We just took money out of the bank to pay rent. And he took the cigarettes back. He leaned in and grabbed them out of the back, literally over my wife, climbed over almost, and took the 5,000 rubles as payment. He said that we would have to go to the police station, fill out paperwork, blah, 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 blah. And he got what he wanted, which was 5,000 rubles cash. So completely true story. That was about 2 years ago now when we were living in the other place. Very, 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 very common. They have to catch the bus a lot. You see them in Moscow center just standing there with their kind of stick with the light on like a lightsaber where they wave people in. And it's not nice if you end up getting on the wrong side of it and you end up having to pay, but you have to pay. Actually, we were in a taxi that got pulled over, and I think he only paid 1,000 rubles, so $10 US at the time. He went down the emergency lane in the highway because there was so much traffic, and it's very normal. People do that in Russia. But then as soon as they see a police or a car, they pull back in, like just tuck back in, and then that emergency lane's free, right? And he got pulled over and he had to pay. They're fine. That last time was recently when we were driving actually to IKEA again. This is quite a few months ago. We got pulled over again, and we had the same license. And the guy was super nice. He actually asked my name, and Manu Zavut Russell, from Australia. I spoke in Russian to him, what I knew. And he was super nice. And he told us, that the IKEA we're going to is like bad for traffic, bad for parking. We knew that already. He was super friendly. And the complete opposite of the one that we got bribed for. So, yes. I think we've got no deletes there. We're okay. If YouTube gets blocked, do you have Telegram? I see other Russian vloggers asking their subs to use it. Yeah, I do have Telegram. I don't have like a group set up. Maybe I could do a Traveling Russell group. I can certainly set that up. Yeah, Telegram is kind of like the Russian chat app, or set up by a couple of Russian guys. I think they've still got the bounty out, haven't they? If anyone can hack the code of Telegram, they give $50,000 to that hacker. So yeah, we'll work on that, I think. Sergey B walks everywhere, never a problem. Sergey Baklikov, I think you're talking about, right? Sergey Baklikov. Yeah, I've watched videos with my wife. My wife watches very little YouTube. And he's from Ufa, which is the same city my wife is from. And he started out in Ufa years ago, making videos. I think this is the same Sergey Baklikov you're talking about. He is from the same city. So I showed my wife videos of him, and she's like just in shock that he was doing videos about Ufa, her city, years and years and years ago. Now, I think he was in St. Petersburg the last time, and he changed his channel. He had a lot of issues with his channels. Now he's got a different channel. He got demonetized and didn't get any payments. Lots of crazy things. Yeah, I could walk around at night in Moscow center. And I wouldn't feel unsafe whatsoever. If I chose to go to Pushkin Square, where there's people gathering nowadays, I put myself in the potential that I might be standing near somebody and they may think that I'm there for that reason. They ask to take your phone. They open your phone. They look at your chat applications. They look at your photos, videos. They want to see who you're chatting to, if you've arranged to meet up and things like that. It's Peter Russell. Peter Russell. I have a hard time too remembering names. Just so many people. Glad you're well. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, what did I say? Did I say Peter to start with? I think I did. I have an uncle Peter, by the way, in Australia. Pete. He actually goes by the nickname Pommy Pete because he's English like my dad is, right? My dad's brother. And he worked on the wharfs as a longshoreman all his life in Australia. And everyone got a nickname down there. And the fact that when he started, he was English and had that English when he was 19. And he was called Pommy Pete. And there's people in the town to this day who know Pommy Pete. There's a story for you. Oh, Brandon Looney Tunes is here. Looney Tunes fan. I think you were here the other day as well. So good to see you in the live. I'm sure there's a few watchers who aren't chatting. So I'm sorry if I don't say hello to you or personal greeting. 24 likes, 17 people here. We are on a bit of a clock with what time we're going to go through till. So we've got about 30, 40 minutes more, I think. So Looney Tunes has 430 subs. Whoa, nearly 500 for community chat, community page. Yeah, that's actually terrifying. Yeah, if you're talking about like the police thing with the bribes. Yeah, I got a speeding fine when I was at home about the first couple of weeks. This is actually, I came back to Australia before Jen flew from Russia to Australia. And I was working almost every day, morning, noon, and night before she arrived because I was at home alone. And I was driving home from from Armidale, from a suburban area in Perth to my house on a back country road almost. And I supposedly was doing 80, what was it? 82 in a 70 zone, kilometers an hour. And I got a $300 fine. Thank you very much. And I thought he might not find me, but he did. And that was that. So my first ever fine. Your favorite Looney Tune character? Don't really have one. Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? Don't really watch a lot of cartoons these days. Do they let you go after you pay? Yes. That's the whole point of it, right? They don't want to do paperwork. They don't want to take you to the police station. They don't want to do any documentation. They just want to flag you in, figure out what is wrong or could be wrong, or find something that's wrong. And they want you to slip them whatever they want to slip them, and off you go. Yeah, it's crazy. And I see even in the streets, particularly in the metro stations where there is police there, right? They pull over young guys quite a lot, particularly non-Russian looking ones, like from Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, all of these regional, former Russian states where they may be undocumented and may have fake documents to check that they're legally allowed to be living in Russia. And whether or not those guys forgot to bring their paperwork in their pocket with them that day, and they have to pay something to them. Typically, that's what they'll do to get off. Again, they don't want to do the paperwork system. So, Gary said, I'm going to try that Telegram thing, me and you split the dough. Oh, for the 50,000 to hack it? Yeah, you need to look that up, Gary. That might be interesting for you just to know the backstory of that, because it's kind of like an encrypted chat app. And this might probably interest you for sure about that. Yeah, you can send me the 25. I think it's $50,000 if you can figure out their code of how it works, encrypted or unencrypted or whatever crypted it is. Caroline Wilson, I just watched last Sunday's stream. I'm new from Constantine's channel. What a system! The bribes. If you watch US YouTube channels of police chases, you will see police arresting government officials. Yeah, I think it's like, what bothers me in Moscow, right? Is you see, obviously there's police cars, there's a lot of police cars that park on, especially in Moscow center, where they've just got traffic jams a lot. And they kind of park on the sides of roads to, encourage people to kind of drive the speed limit, not speed, not hold up traffic, not change lanes. And they may not pull someone over, but they're just visibly in the streets. But then you see a lot of unmarked cars with the blue sirens on, which are typically politicians' cars or government officials. And the minute they get any kind of traffic, their blue light comes on, the siren comes on, they go past any traffic on the road, they go through red lights, they go down some of the bus lanes. And anytime you're in Moscow center, in those streets around Red Square, the Kremlin, the immediate areas in the center of Moscow, they just put their lights on. They're normally like unmarked Mercedes, BMWs, Maybachs, even Toyota Camrys, like the fancy Camrys. But it's just like it's their rite of passage, particularly for these politicians. And I mean, whether or not Mr. P's in the car or maybe the mayor Sobyan is the mayor of Moscow, whether he's in the car or whoever it is, it could be the street sweeper for the Red Square could be getting a lift home, but it's like they've got free passage to the city. And it bothers me so much because in Australia, you would never see like politicians kind of, I guess maybe the prime minister maybe gets like a bit of a police escort, where you got the car with little flags on the front of the car. But I mean, then, that might be it, but there's nobody else that's anywhere above that law that they would let that happen. You know what I mean? Passing traffic, going down the side of the roads, and it's just common in Moscow center, and everybody just, it is what it is, whatever, nothing you can do about it, I don't think I'm missing anything. Yeah, they're in Dubai now, the Telegram guys. Oh, I'm not sure. I guess they probably living off the riches of what they've done. Oh, Peter, yeah, I'm just reading what you've said here. I mean, we're trying to not have too much political talk. I mean, I'm happy to kind of mention things and things like that. I just don't want to say certain words, certain sentences, certain places. But this boxer that you're talking about, I think he's the mayor as well, isn't he? The boxer. Yeah, there's so many people coming out with this, like, don't go to the supermarket and support, like, this whole thing with Ashan and Globus, right? Like, any money you're spending on, like in Australia, they pulled Russian vodka off the shelves in the liquor stores and bottle shops, because you buying a bottle of Russian vodka in Perth is funding the people in Russia doing things across the border. So yeah, basically, sorry guys, just to explain, I've got one chat down here that shows everything, and then on this screen over here, I've got the ones that it's showing as well. But because I'm using Gary as a bit of a moderator in case anything's really out of hand, he can delete things, but I can still see them. That's where in the last chat, I accidentally read out a lot of things I shouldn't have done. And I kind of got wrapped on the knuckles by Gary, particularly because he's cautious for me, so yeah, it's, I mean, they're saying, oh, you shouldn't buy a bottle of vodka in Perth because the money would fund, the ongoing situation. You can read between the lines of what I'm saying. I think Constantine says that a lot, and I completely understand. It's the countries around the world are going to still need Russia for things like they talk about the wheat, the oil, the gas. I mean, countries. I mean, and countries can't cut off from other countries, right? I mean, we all need from each other, and that's where we should all be able to live in peace and harmony, and everything should be good and nice and normal and happy. But It's not. Russell, we will see how this is going to develop further develop. My last comment about politics, but we are pretty sure getting the guilt trip here. This boxer, obviously he's got the right to say what he says and does what he does. I mean, everybody, would every Australian be in the same boat if Australia was under duress from another country? If New Zealand decided to come to Australia and say, we want Australia, would every Australian band together and want to support, the military in action? No, we wouldn't. We would let them do what they need to do, and that's that. Maybe the police would join them. Maybe the fire brigade would join them. Maybe the ambulance guys would join them. Would every Australian that lives in every street and every house? No. I mean, I guess it's down to a patriotism that every Ukrainian and the boxer here wants to do that, which I guess good on them. I mean, do I feel that way for my country? I mean, I guess sentimentally I do. Would I be the first one to step up to help? I don't think so, unfortunately. I guess should be worse and be very, yes, I should. I'd be running down there and running in. I think I'd want to figure out other ways to help, not, going and suddenly learning skills that I don't need to know about ever in my life, so... are there any rules in Russia that you've had to learn the hard way about? Any funny stories? Yeah, probably just talking about that one about getting bribed by the police. That would never happen in Australia. I mean, you would either get a reprimand on the spot. I mean, we just got pulled over just driving around the corner. We weren't doing anything wrong. We didn't have lights broken, anything like that. He was probably just hoping that we had something wrong, particularly because we were in a rental car as well. We were in one of these rideshare cars, and he probably assumes that we didn't have a license or the car didn't have its documents in the glove box, which they should have. Making YouTube videos, by the way, you can't film everywhere in Russia, which essentially in Australia, I don't think there's any rules against it, like just getting a camera out and filming things. I guess public and private property would be an issue. But weirdly here, there's a lot of places and businesses with a sticker, quite clearly, no filming, like when you go inside. Who was the guy that told me about this, about not filming? Because maybe the people were undocumented and they may get seen on the camera when I film something. Like, the guy at the fruit market down here that I go to, I've asked him for me to go along with him to buy the fruit and vegetables that he goes to the wholesale place, and he doesn't want me to film at all. And when you go there, don't want you to film because you may be filming undocumented workers. And I would never even think about that as a rule. Oh, I'll tell you another one, Mark. In the apartment that we rent here, the pipes for the hot and cold tap in the bathroom have like a hot 2 meters, one for hot and one for cold, a meter that ticks over. That as you use your water usage, and then the guy that we rent off, we take a photo of it once a month, and then he pays the bill based on the water usage. So when we first moved in here, Jen came back before I got here. She didn't have a water bill for the first few months. And Jen never even thought about it. Like, oh, why not paying the water bill? He doesn't need any money. And typically our water bill in this apartment is about $10 to $15 per month for water and electricity. We don't have gas. And Jen wasn't sure why. And she eventually asked him, because I said, just ask him why we're not paying any water bill or electricity bill. And he said that there's a magnet on the back of the water bit meter that doesn't make the water meter tick over, and the magnet's basically frozen the needle, and it never moves, so nobody knows that you're not using water, so you don't have to pay the bill. And that's common in Russia, that people buy a giant magnet, stick it on the back of their meters, water meter, electricity meters, to stop them from spinning. And obviously there's a rule, you've got to pay it, right? But there's the unwritten rule that I don't know if it's half of Russia, but I guess the average person in Russia has magnets on their water meters and electricity meters here. Are any rules in Russia that you had to learn the hard way? When you catch any escalator in the metro station, which they have in London, the tube, you stand on the right-hand side, on the up and the down, no matter what. And on the left-hand side is where people walk. So everyone stands still on the right-hand side, and everybody walks up and down the left-hand side. And there's not any other rule. When you go to get in the metro, everybody naturally stands. You know how sometimes people want to cross each other to get in the train or the bus? Everybody naturally stands politely at the side entrances when the doors open on the metro. And everyone gets out, then everyone gets in, the door shuts, and off you go. And if you didn't know that, you just sort of, unpolitely try to get on the metro or the train as people are getting off, because that's what you do in the rest of the world, except in Moscow, where people are polite. People hold doors for each other here a lot as well, opening and closing doors. Thank you, Gary. I just saw 30 minutes there. So people are polite to open doors for each other, going in and out of shops, businesses, particularly for ladies with prams. Any extra help you'd give a lady with a pram, with a young baby, carrying something. Old ladies or babushkas, if they've got their shopping, particularly getting on the buses and the metros, someone will help them. I wouldn't say I'd learned that the hard way. That's just polite, and that's just something you grow up knowing to be polite, to open a door for someone coming in and out of the shop somewhere. But under normal circumstances, people aren't, right? So, Gary said he met the people from Telegram, and that's why he knows they're in Dubai. Wow. That's crazy. Now I'm catching up a little bit here. Lauren says, I asked my local bottle shop to auction it off for the charities. Yeah, I just found that bizarre that Dan Murphy's, that's one of the brands in Australia, we're pulling like the vodka bottles off the shelves, which is just bizarre. I mean, here in Russia, they're not pulling Jack Daniels off the shelf. They're not pulling any brands. There's no anti-sentiment. I mean, there's probably a political anti-sentiment, I guess, and this breakdown in relations between countries. But you wouldn't go in the supermarket, let's pull all the New Zealand butter off the shelf, or let's pull all the English, what's English? Mint sauce off the shelf. I don't know what's English. That makes sense, I guess. It's release the camels and the roos, Craggy. Yes, they'll swim back to New Zealand. Yeah, imagine if New Zealand. I mean, I was telling my wife, who were we talking to the other day? We were talking to somebody about, when we were around at my wife's friend's place with her husband. We had last Sunday. We were there for dinner and with all her friends. And I was trying to get my wife to explain about when Japan came to invade Australia through Darwin and everything. And I was trying to get my wife to explain that to them, because, the conversation of what's happening came up in across the border here and everything. And yeah, Tasmania is like another state. Oh, sorry. Where are we here? I'd moved to Tasmania. Yeah, instead of, because Tasmania is not Australia, right? It's completely safe. New Zealanders wouldn't come to Tasmania. So, yeah. The funny thing is, Lauren, just talking about the vodka there, if you ever look at the back of a bottle of Smirnoff, mean, Smirnov's long time hasn't been Russian, you know. Even Stolichnia, which is, you know, the famous Russian brand of vodka, is not made in Russia. It's made in another country completely. And Smirnov, if you buy Smirnov in America that we were selling on the cruise ships, it's made and bottled in Connecticut in America for Diageo, the owners. Oh, there you go. Sergey tried to film at a Lada dealership and they did not like it. Oh, Sergey Baklikov, yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, it's obviously a right for businesses to, I mean, there's a lot of laws that allow you to do things like filming in public. You can do a lot of things. There's laws that allow you to do things here. And there is some unwritten laws that don't allow you to do things here. And it's very hard to know that which is right or wrong, you know. And I was trying to talk about that with Constantine about, you know, where's the stand on that, where it's right or wrong. And, you know, generally you just ask beforehand, can I film? Can I walk around? I want to make a YouTube video for Australian people to watch. Oh, no worries. Go for it. Oh, yeah. And the only thing that most people ask is not get their faces on camera or not get their kids in the videos. Pete, thank you. Got to go. Take care. Love the live chat. Good growing your channel. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. I guess we're going to be going to like a fancier restaurant with my wife now than what we started out fancy. So thank you if you're still here or you've gone. Yeah, the stock they have is already paid for, but won't be bringing more in. Only need beer over here anyway. Right. And then Foster's is not Australian, right? It's the big deal with like when they had the big issue with Corona and Foster sold Corona off. Like Corona's the biggest selling beer in Australia, Mexican beer. you know the thing of like what Dan Murphy's has done by pulling the vodka off the shelf. This is like a self-sanction. You know, the government hasn't said you should stop doing that. The same with all the shops and the businesses here. You know, the government hasn't said to anybody you can stop doing anything. You know, you all have to leave. Government said zero. You know what I mean? Do what you like, take it how you like. You know, no worries at all, and everything's fine. You know what I mean? I don't think Mr. P is that bothered if every business was to close. I mean, of course, in a greater economic sense, it may be a problem, but you know, in the kind of short term of what's happened at the moment, there is, I mean, I physically, visibly can't see a difference. I mean, I'm sure maybe I will months down the track. I mean, this thing about what Gary was saying about filming at a car, not a car dealership, but at car parts stores, just showing, you know, what isn't available. That would be, you know, very interesting to see that, right? So, hi from the Netherlands. How's it going, Dees Damar? I think maybe you're new to the live stream. Maybe I didn't see your name the last stream either. Pretty much anyone that I'm sort of referencing a lot here is who I'm seeing in the comments, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of what I call lurkers who watch but never comment. I've got no worries. People watch and just listen to me talking. I mean, if you find it interesting, this kind of light-hearted conversation, then that's fantastic. I mean, yeah. I think a lot of Aussies want to help but don't have many options. I suppose it gives people a chance to feel they're making a statement. Yeah, I guess from Australia, I mean, short of giving donations to, I guess, the charities that are doing things over in across the border. You know what I mean? And as someone pointed out, who did I see? Somebody mentioned something about they don't want to give any money to any charities because of the amount of taxes that would come out of it. The CEOs are driving fancy BMWs. You don't know how many cents in the dollar go to the last person down the line of the charity. When completely agree with that and understand that. I mean, I would rather, know that I can physically give something to someone that can do good for them, rather than, just giving a tax deductible donation and not know wherever that final penny goes to. I'd rather see, like, from an Australian point of view, that the money stays at home, helps all the flood victims over eastern states, where we have cyclones over in WA and stuff like that. The bushfire, in Perth, we got bushfires quite often. I'd rather see that going somewhere. I mean, I always think government should look after their own first, and then everybody else kind of second. I mean, I'm sure in terms of the world politics, it's not the answer, but that's not the answer. But I think, I mean, in terms of from an American point of view, I mean, these guys have got their finger in every pie in the bakery, and they have homelessness. They've got, people that are, bankrupt and broke and living in their cars, living on the streets. And it's horrible to see. And the country has wealth, but it's squandered on giving it elsewhere or spending it on their military. And, what are they giving? How many billions of dollars they're giving? So, yeah, can you get good steak or lamb over there for barbecues? The butchers have meats. We don't buy lamb here, although I'm sure it's available. We tend to get a lot of pork. I like pork chops and pork steaks and stuff like that. The beefs that we buy tend to be stewing beefs that we use for soups. My wife makes a lot of soups, and a lot of Russians make a lot of soups. So we don't need steaks as such. Most of the time when you have a barbecue here, you don't have like a barbecue with a grill and onto skewers, like kebabs, called shashlik. So you don't need really good quality meat for those. In the supermarkets, you can get very nice quality steaks, and you can get, even Australian meats and lambs and things like that here as well. It's incredibly expensive. I mean, in Australia, meat, steak, lamb is expensive, but here, compared to the average price of things in Russia, it's really expensive, like more than Australian prices if I was to convert it. Whereas, everything else is very. I mean, we did one bag of shopping today, right? I mean, we didn't buy lots of things, but we had a full grocery bag. I'm gonna try to make a video like buying things and putting them in the kitchen table here and talking about them. We bought a 5-liter bottle of water because that was heavy, and the whole shopping bag of things, and it was 1,400 rubles, so $14 US. It was about, now the exchange rate Australia has dropped a little bit. It was less than $20 for everything we bought. I mean, we went for soup and sushi and a tea and a Coke, and that was under $20 for dinner. So if you think about like the couple of different super chats here and how I said about taking my wife out for dinner, I mean, in Moscow center, there is very fancy restaurants with very high prices compared to Russian average prices. But if we go out for an everyday kind of meal here, like the big bowl of soup that we had was $4. The sushis were $4 each as well. I think tea was like 50 cents for tea. Coke was $1. So Ross says he has a bottle of Stolichnia and Preshnichnia, but both distilled in Russia, but they are old bottles. Yeah. I think the current Stolichnia is from Latvia. The ones that we had on the cruise ships were from Latvia. And this is actually one of the ways that, in a small way, prior to all of this, Russia got around a lot of the sanctions. Was that their brands not necessarily major Western companies, but food brands, they'd move their manufacturing to Russia, and they manufacture a lot of pasta that you buy here. Pretty much all the pasta you buy here, like spaghetti and different pastas, they're all some kind of an Italian brand generally, but they're manufactured in Russia with the Italian brand on the packaging. But every part of it's Russian, barring the name on the label. And that's how they get around a lot of the sanctions, is just basically changing the country of manufacture, changing the manufacturing techniques, sourcing the ingredients in Russia to make the same Italian pasta to put on the shelf in the supermarket here. And these companies see that as lucrative because they're serving 100 million plus people around the whole of Russia, right? So it opens up their market very quickly because of the population here. Oh, you're one of the lookers. Oh, thank you, Dees. Yeah, you're more than welcome to chat in the comments. Thumbs up are very good as well. All of that is free. It costs nothing to do. Thumbs up, post a comment, like and subscribe to the channel. It just helps the algorithm of the channel and the reach of the channel. So super chat, super stickers are a bonus. Actually, I should probably tell people not to do super chats. I feel bad to say that. So I don't have to wife out for dinner so much, or lunch, because she'll expect it, right? So that's really bad. I hope she's not listening. We have got the door set up closed here so that I'm not talking as loud through the kitchen. So what is the education system like in Russia? Do you have to pay to go to college? I don't know about really anything about the college and school system. Lisa, sorry, how are you going, Lisa? I do want to get a Russian person in the chat with us, and we can do a side-by-side screen. I can invite people into the chat, and he speaks English, and I reckon it would be kind of cool to do that. Do you think? So yeah, I think we should do that, Lisa. Whoops, where are we at here? All the groceries seem much cheaper there. Are wages less? Yes, Lauren, they are. The average wage is much less. This is where it's very difficult to kind of compare penny for penny, and for me to go up and make a video like this is $1, this is $2. I know I'm doing it in some of the videos. I've seen other YouTubers where they're literally pointing out every item on every shelf. Realistically, the average minimum wage here is probably minimum. I don't think there's a minimum average wage. I think if you Google it, I think it says it's somewhere between $300 and $500 a month, not week. So the price of rent, our electricity at $10 or $15 a month. Imagine paying water and electricity, $15 a month. That's on the high side. It's 1,000 rubles, so $10 is our monthly water and electricity bill. So things are cheap here, but the average salary is low as well. The average salary at $300 to $500. You can see why the police would take bribes, and government officials do what they do, right and wrong, and these oligarchs do right or wrong. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. These couple of things like this, Lisa, are kind of tough questions for me, asking about healthcare. I know it's free if I go to the public hospital here, and actually the public hospital is just down the road. We live literally, we're not on the same streets, 2 streets away. Every town has its kind of little regional hospital. It would be free if we were to walk in there. The problem is you'd have to wait, and however many people are there ahead of you. The quality of care is probably equal to Australia or on par with Australia. It probably looks a little bit more behind the times. You can go to private clinics, private hospitals if you like. The public healthcare system looks like you see on the television, where you've got the old lady with the traditional looking uniform on. And when my wife got sick a couple of years ago, she had an allergic reaction to eating some fish. And she kind of had all red in her face and her tongue was swelling up. We called the ambulance. They came within minutes because we are just down the road from the hospital. And then the lady came. I guess she was the ambulance nurse, I think. I don't know. I think she was. Or she was the doctor that comes in the ambulance. She had that old, medicine bag that the old doctors carry. And she opened it, and it had all the glass vials in the top rows of the medicine bag. And she literally got the syringe out. She chose which one she wanted. She had my wife turn over and gave her the shot in the bum. Craig, you're off. We're nearly off as well. I think in 9 minutes. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, we're off as well in 9 minutes. I'm not going to go longer than this. Literally, it'll be 9 minutes and we're off as well. So thank you for the super chat, Craigie, and the previous ones as well. Know that when you see photos of my wife and I having food, it's part of that super chat. So nobody wanted me to give it to the cats, to the guy down the road. And over Pete before as well. So early start tomorrow. Yeah, Monday tomorrow. Yeah, my wife's at work as well. That's why she's almost fully asleep in bed now as well. Already given the thumbs up. Thank you. Yeah, so groceries do seem cheaper here. Yes, I completely agree. Things are much, much, much cheaper than Australia. I mean, the cost of living here is cheaper, but the average salary is less here. I mean, that's just blunt. I mean, there is people that earn good salaries and they spend more. It costs more to live here. For the average person here, they're very much the average person. They can live. They can get a job. They can afford to live, can afford to eat. And that's that. That's it. There's that line. There's no above and below it. You live paycheck to paycheck, as we call it in Australia as well. Me and my wife are in no way wealthy and have money, and we live okay, and that's it. That's me and my wife, and that's how we are. I mean, if she was to not have her job tomorrow, we would struggle. The moment we've not been able to use my cards here, we struggle. So we're having to kind of deal with that and figure that out. Our super chat's part of monetization. Yes. So you have to have over 1,000 subscribers. I hope that answers a little bit, Lauren, a little bit more. I can definitely talk more about wages and cost of living more. I mean, however you want to intake the question answer. So basically when a super chat comes through, like it did a couple of times here, it goes into the monetization of the channel. So you can't get them before that. So if you've got under 1,000 subscribers and you don't have live streaming activated and all that sort of stuff, I'm just pointing to my screen where it is over here. Sorry. And then YouTube basically amounts that together. They typically show whatever you may earn from ads 2 or 3 days delayed. So this channel got monetized 3 days ago, literally 4 days ago, I guess, technically. Depends on how they're 2 days behind. It's had 2 days of ads. This will be the third day tomorrow morning. It normally comes in about 4 a.m. I don't know what the time of day thing is. And then the payment would be once a month on the 21st. That's when YouTube pays into my Australian bank, typically 21st, 22nd. There'd be that deposit. And since I've been here in Russia, that's what I've lived off, is the money, the small amount of money that I'm getting from my cruise channel. Not a lot, but it's enough. That's, I don't know. If I could fly to America, go on a cruise, make some amazing videos, fly here, I could probably make more. But I'm not, and I can't. I'm in a tough niche doing cruise videos when I'm not on a cruise ship. Caroline says, okay, so I'll just skip ahead because it kind of is the same question. Yeah, actually, I'll kind of go in order here, so it's a bit easier. Ross says, shame on me. I thought about getting a magnet for my electric meter here in Russia, in USA. Yeah, it's, I would not have known about that before now, because I would never have seen that. The guy came because the guy that we pay rent to here comes and picks his money up. So he showed us the magnet and he said, it's okay. No worries. Oh, no worries. Just leave it on there. No problem. Da, 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 da. My wife was like, no, we want to pay the bill correctly. We don't want to have any problems. We don't want anyone knocking our door to come and look at the meter. So like the local administration could do that. They don't, but they could. And they have in the past, not us, but in other buildings and things like that. So yeah. Caroline, so do I get super chat monies? Yes. Well, I did. I guess. Well, I haven't yet, but from the previous live stream, we had some. Yeah, Craggy did a couple of donations, a few donations, and he did one tonight. And there was about I think it was about 8 or 10 people that did super chats. So it's basically pending until next month. So that should all work out. It will work out. It's just how I can get the money via this bank transfer thing that I'm figuring out in the next 2 days. If you get homesick, watch Russell Coit, All Adventures. Have you how to get everyone up and moving? Have to get up and moving. Take care. Thanks, Lauren. Yes, I watched what's Russell Coit's real name? He was on the Front Bar a couple of episodes ago when they did a thing about Shane Warne. Yeah, I can watch Russell Coit over and over and over again. Do they have a minimum wage? I'm not sure here. I would imagine there's a kind of a number that's a minimum amount that the government would say that's what you need to live off and what the cost to live would be. I don't think there's a number. It's very low if there is one, though. And it's horrible to think as a Westerner or as a non-Russian to think of that number in your head. I thought YouTube had cut off monetization. No, it hasn't. The one thing that's a little bit pending is for Russian YouTubers and Russian registered YouTube accounts and Russian registered bank accounts. This is where there's a bit of a gray area for the time being that hasn't been sort of talked about for Russian YouTubers, because I think everyone's sort of waiting for the next month and the month after what will happen. I mean, I really don't. I guess I should give myself super chats just to make myself feel a bit better, but I don't know. Sorry. I guess I'm too honest. Do I need it? Do you need a PayPal account to send a super chat? Honestly, I don't know how it sets up from another account. I imagine there's probably a payment system through Google that you'd have to attach. I guess maybe a card payment, or I don't know. I would imagine it's PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, probably that you attach to your Google account, linked through YouTube, for you to put a super chat forward, I guess. I don't know that part. I'm sorry. Ross, and most of the cars are late models. Here in Russia, there's 5 minutes. Oh, that's good, Rachel. Exactly 5 minutes. Okay, 5-minute warning. There we go. I think we might be down to about 3 minutes, unless you're, what are we on, 57? Yeah, I think 3 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to those few people who did do the super chats. It's very, 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 very appreciated, especially from my wife's point of view, because she'll be the one that'll benefit from it. I don't take her out enough, by the way, just to be very honest. I'm kind and loving and very nice. I just don't show it enough. And that's my probably downfall. So whatever reason she picked me out of the window in the teddy bear shop. Ross says, we'll see on the 21st if Super Chat comes through. Yes. Well, I know they'll work for me. I know that already because it will work. Because it will go to my Australian bank account because it has always, it did 6 days ago or 5 days ago now. So, oh, Easelcat. Oh, I see Easelcat. You're still here. Thanks for sticking around. Rachel, Ross, how's that? Rachel and Ross. Sorry. Caroline, Lauren, Lisa. So Lisa asked a couple of questions there. If I can get my friend to come on, his name is Dimmer. He speaks very good English. Well, I say he does. And he's grown up here in Russia, obviously. Could answer a lot of those sort of schooling kind of questions. I guess about healthcare he could answer. I mean, I think he might give you that kind of simpler in English thing. Thank you, Gary. We kept it non-political. Yeah, I guess maybe to make, I don't know, the stir of people. I guess I need to be more, I don't know, like straight-faced. I guess I'm not one to show my emotions enough. I think that's probably, that's probably my problem. I just want to say, hoping for peace soon, everyone. Yes. The thing is, for me, right? Now with this social media age, everyone can kind of contact anybody. I mean, whether or not they reply, I don't know. We talked about Kim Illman earlier on, the photographer, the Formula One photographer. When I was here in Moscow, okay, so was it around Christmas time? They had the Moscow Cup, the Kremlin Cup. It was a tennis tournament, and I went to a few days of that tennis, and there was Australians playing. And I messaged them on Instagram that I'll be coming and I'll be in the crowd and I'll wear my Aussie shirt. I'll carry my Aussie flag. And actually, they did wave to me, the players. I will admit that when there wasn't a big crowd there because of the COVID restrictions, but they didn't reply on Instagram. I mean, some people aren't that busy that they can't check Instagram messages. Or I know even for the YouTube channel, there's a ton of messages on comments on the channel right now. And I'm trying to get through them and reply to them, and it's just challenging. But you know what I mean? In a kind of a funny way, not funny. You know what I mean? One guy could just get together with the other guy and hash out what they need to hash out, like in terms of talk about things. That would be amazing, right? And it would sort out everything. You know what I mean? Fortunately, both of these two people I'm talking about probably don't want to sit in the same room and talk about things. I think one of them mentioned they want to, but do they both want the same thing? You know what I mean? Like the same ultimate end. If there's not the word end, right? I mean, let's say that end. I don't know. So I'm going to leave how Constantine does because I think it's kind of nice. I'm not going to pray because I don't. But I think, in terms of being positive, and I am a positive person, I don't show my emotions enough. I should be more emotional. I should be, my God, everything's falling down around me. Everything's a problem. There's a lot of problems that I don't mention, so, and I probably don't show to my wife. Maybe she doesn't show them to me, but, we're happy. I guess if that's the best thing to be. We have our good days, we have our bad days. I think everybody does in the world, right? I mean, everybody has good and bad days, you know what I mean? And the sun will still come up tomorrow. It'll still go down the next day, the same day tomorrow. And the way I've looked at it just at the very moment. Oh, thank you, Lisa, for coming over from Constantine's channel. Yeah, I've met him a few times. We live not far from each other here. I will always talk very highly of him as a person that I've met. You know, I mean, at the moment, my wife and I, we're okay. We're doing okay. If we do choose to go to Australia and up stumps, as they say it in cricket, and want to leave, yeah, Ross, no worries. I will end here in a second so that everyone can leave, or if you want to leave, because I'm pretty sure he's right on time now. So thank you, Ross. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I think I'll just end on this sort of note. Thanks to the likes, thanks to the subscribers, and for you guys watching at home who've followed the channel recently for a long time since the beginning. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in another stream a few days at least from now. Thanks, Gary, for being a moderator. Love what you do. D's, a few buys coming through. Wow, nice. Thanks, everybody. Oh, peace, comrades. Hey, just Ross, there's a guy, I talked to a lady today I worked with on cruise ships about 20 years ago, and we brought up the fact that we knew a Ukrainian guy who was an accountant on the ship. And I used to always say to him, "Oh, comrade captain. Oh, comrade captain." He was in a uniform, officer's uniform, but he was an accountant. And I used to, because all I thought about Ukrainian and Russia and everything like that was comrade, comrade captain, like from like Hunt for Red October and stuff like that. And that's all I'd ever remember him by, and that was 20 years ago. And we just mentioned it today on a chat with each other. This lady, not him, she was a nurse on the ship. And she said, I wonder what happened to him, where he is now and what he's doing. And neither of us have him on Facebook. So, and you're saying about comrades. Yeah, I guess we're all comrades in the world. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the chat. See you again soon. Thanks for the super chats. And see you in another stream. Bye, everybody. Traveling with Russell.